All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. I'm doing great, thank you. It's another snowy day here in beautiful Canada, and I'm ready to go. Hopefully, the markets are going to be kind to us. I'm looking forward. We got some economic data. We got some earnings. We've got a little bit of everything today. So.
Yep, absolutely. Let's hope everything is going to be kind to us today. You know, I was talking bad about Intel for a very long time, and I can't anymore because it treated me actually pretty well yesterday. Took a while, but it actually ended up treating us pretty nice. So Intel played nice towards the end. All right, friends, let's look at some of the stocks in our gappers list this morning as we kick things off here. We got a couple of things in the green, CLSK, silver, HL, AG, criminal, whatever this is, and then we have some other ones. So I can't get that. I see it's criminal now. It's a criminal ticker.
That's all you can see now.
Oh, man.
You're welcome.
Peter has messed me up there. All right, let's see, friends. So that's what we have. And let's go to our U.S. economic calendar before we dive into all this fun stuff.
Yeah, we do have a couple of data points that coming out this morning. In fact, I should go back and look and see. It looks like some of the data came out. Yes, it did. All right. So I was really confused this morning by the producer price index because yesterday we had the CPI data. Let me just pull it up here. We had the CPI data that came out, and it was for December. And now we've got the PPI, the producer price index, coming out today for October. I did like triple check. It is the October data that came out. Like that just seems so old as to be historic. But here it is. So it's October data. Anyways, producer price index did come out, reported at 0.1%. We didn't even have a forecast for it. So it's I don't know. The market I'm sure, feels free to completely ignore that data, and I can't blame it. So we also had retail sales that came out. They actually came out a little bit stronger than expected at 0.6%. And then later this morning, we do have existing home sales. 2 o'clock's probably the biggest piece of data with the Fed Beige Book. There shouldn't be any surprises with the Fed Beige Book. It's really just a written amalgamation of the information that each Fed division has already released. But you sometimes get the algos reading it in the markets, and then we'll make trades as a result. So with some interpretation. So just be aware if you're in a trade this afternoon around 2 o'clock, you can sometimes get a little bit of market jitteriness or movement as a result. We do have some Fed speakers that I didn't have room to put on here. I don't think they're going to move the market. 9:15 Barr is speaking. At 12:40 Barkin is speaking. At 1:30 we got Schmidt speaking. So they are the chairs of different Fed divisions. None of those tend to have much of an impact. So a relatively quiet day, I think, for data. Really, I think what we're waiting is, it's always on news these days, right? We're waiting on news. The Fed Beige Book maybe will get more attention. We're probably all familiar now that Powell released what people were calling was like a prisoner statement. Powell's not usually animated when he speaks, but he released a statement. He was looking a little gaunt and wooden, and he was talking about the federal subpoena, I guess, that was given to him for his, saying that he gave false testimony a while back. So it's that whole thing is a little weird. I don't know if that's going to move the markets at all, like related to this Fed Beige Book, because it has nothing to do with it, right? But it's a related it's a it comes from the Fed. So I just thinking that there might be a tension. So anyways, just be careful if you're trading it too. Bottom line, here in the markets, I said we got earnings that are starting. Yesterday we had one bank. Today we got a bunch more. We'll talk about them. Not many have hit my gappers list yet, but I'll make sure to cover those as we go through the what's moving this morning.
All right, absolutely, friends. Let's do it. Starting with our gap up list today, and first on deck is GSIT. So GSIT. Wow. Okay, let's go in here. GSI Technology is popping up here, 14%, 14.8, and 568,000 shares traded at the moment. So we're getting a little bit of action here. 22 million shares flow. So not lowish like we see that 1 point something, but it's still very low flow, very low price here for what we're used to. Peter clearly in play, doing some stuff. Looks like the last couple of days we have seen some action on it here, starting on the 26th of December. Anything good to report?
They did have an announcement that they have a government-funded Sentinel proof of concept with G2 Tech. Anyways, I don't know what that is, but basically it's an AI autonomous security system. I mean, it's not. Again, we sometimes have to keep in mind the relative size of these companies. This is a company with $24 million worth of sales. This is a $1 million government proof of concept contract. So again, it's the size of which most companies they wouldn't even announce. But it's big news for them, and it's got the stock, as you can see, moving. Carlos, usually as soon as I see these tiny little contracts being announced and stocks moving more than I think they should, I usually sort of skip over them. It doesn't look bad, I'll give you that. It's about 700,000 shares and pumping right now. Like right now, look at it. I mean, it's moving. So it's a potential, but I'm skeptical as to, let's come back to it in half an hour and see if it's still moving.
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's do just that, my friends. We'll come back to it here. Wow. As we're talking about it, it's just flying off the shelf, man. 975 is hitting now. So it's really cranking here, my friends. Be very careful. If you're a pre-market trader, I'm not sure if we have many of those in chat because that's usually not how we trade. But if you are a pre-market trader, man, just be very, very careful. All right, continuing here. CLSK is another one that's on deck. We spoke about this yesterday. It was also making some noise. CLSK, if I type correctly. There it is. It's up 5%, 2.1 million shares traded at the moment. So it is getting a little bit of volume, and it's starting to look alive, man. Maybe today will be the day that we put this on deck. I don't see any of his other partners and brothers here. I don't see Mara. I don't see anything else. MSTR. I don't see any of that. So, Peter, is this just related to CSLK, which is Clean Spark?
Yeah, they announced that was this today or yesterday? Today, that they've entered into a definitive agreement to acquire up to 447 acres of land in Brazoria County. It's in Texas, anyways. They're planning to build a long-term transmission facility. Basically, it's a big AI power plant and data center. So it's just continuing on their business model, and they've acquired a whole bunch of land to do it. So it's got them a little bit of attention. Doesn't feel like tradable news to me, but hey, if the market likes it and it's going to make the stock move, then let's go. Yeah, 2 million shares so far this morning, and it actually looks pretty good. It's moving decently. So I don't know, Carlos. I mean, like you said, we did mention this yesterday. I did sort of flip to it a couple of times, and it was pretty ugly. Like it just did not move well. So I don't think it will today either, but it could be wrong. It has had its moments.
Yeah, it sure has. And again, we don't trade that sector anymore like we used to. We used to watch it quite a bit, not as much anymore. Let's head over to PSLV. It's another one we have here in PSLV. It is up 5.5 this morning. 608,000 shares traded, sitting on the American Stock Exchange. This is silver. How can I forget? This is silver, of course. So again, it's funny how here the world was falling apart. Oh, this is it. It's over. It's coming back down. And I'm like, guys, can you zoom out the chart a little bit? Just zoom out the chart just a little bit so you can see what's happening.
It's
I mean, it
yeah.
is far from over. This thing doesn't know what over means. It's just there's no end to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, insane madness. All right, Peter. So
Um,
here we are. We have also HL. We have AG. It's a bunch of other tickers on here that you can trade. Peter, have you started dabbling in this stuff yet?
No, when we started talking about it, clearly I should have, but I thought we'd sort of hit a ridiculously high peak and the game was over back in mid-December. And yet here we are. So you can basically just rerun my comments from yesterday and the day before and the day before that, or the Friday. We're at all-time highs. It just keeps happening. So here we are again. And yeah, you're going to see a whole bunch of silver stocks on here as a result.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, pick your favorites on this one, friends. Again, I typically don't day trade these, but I'm telling you, they are definitely in play here. At least on the daily, moving very very well. Let's see what else we have. HLAG will fall into that same category as silver here, PSLV, and we'll skip down right to the next one, EXK. See what this is about. EXK. Here we are, ESK. We are, oh, it looks ugly pre-market. I gotta tell you that much. Doesn't look great. So we're up 3.4 on it, 355,000 shares traded. But I am not loving this. What is this? Oh, silver too. It's another silver. But this one
It's a
looks,
silver,
this
it's
one
a
doesn't look
silver
as,
miner out of Canada.
yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't look as nice as the other one. So this is probably not the one to choose unless you like some kind of swing trade on it. There's definitely better looking ones. Let's skip on this one. Let's go to criminal. Critical metals is on here today. They are up 2.7, 704,000 shares traded. Again, has been in play. Peter's been talking about this. We've been talking about this for a while. Day looks awesome, but the intraday it's not really tradable. So I'm gonna skip on it this morning. It's funny. Our gappers list is more just minerals and coins and I mean metals. There's really nothing coming off this list, Peter. The most interesting thing on here for me, and again, it's a low flow stock, is GSIT, GSIT
Mm.
this morning. So, what's your thoughts on criminal and anything else on this list?
Yeah, it's I mean that silver seems to be dominating the list like you pointed out. I was just reading the detail of the Endeavor silver mine. They produce some very specific data. But I do remember when I used to work on mines and it was sort of weird how they had to like you think about a mining operation and they had to have big safes to actually store some of the precious metals that they ran across depending on whether they had refining, facilities on site or they just shipped the raw ore off. But anyways, criminal, yeah, it's not criminal. It's critical metals. They're doing a great job of staying in focus. I think their marketing people, say that finally have their moment. They've probably been bored for a long time, and now they've got people's attention, and they're desperate to keep it. They made another announcement today that they received the first assay results, basically the assessment detail of what's in the ground from a drilling campaign that they've got ongoing in Greenland. And they say that it's consistent with high grade rare earth metals. So again, they're just trying to drip feed, it feels like, this information out to the market to say, look, we've got a great resource. We're here. We got stuff going on. So, because, we'd never heard from them before. I think it's interesting if you sort of look at the history. They've had press releases today, yesterday, Monday, Friday, Wednesday of last week, and then the previous before that was like a month earlier, and then before that was like 2 months earlier. Like it's like they went from not really talking much to suddenly every day they're like, what can we put out there? So I said they're doing a good job of staying in the conversation. That being said, Carlos, again, the I wish it traded just a little better. The volume has picked up. You can see the volume bars here in the chart that we're sharing. It's certainly higher volume than it had been, but it's still not great in my opinion. It's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
So,
They looks does look very nice. If that continues, hopefully we can do something with that. So, um, all right, what else? That I believe covers our gap up list, Peter. Is there any tickets that are not on here that you like this morning?
well, gapping up Citigroup. So Citigroup. So Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America all reported earnings this morning. The three banks, and as you would expect, right, all banks beat their numbers on both revenue and earnings. Some wild variances. In fact, the revenue for all three banks significantly higher than their forecast. So I'm not sure what's going on, but they all sort of overachieved, and I guess that's what's expected out of the banks, right? They always make money, no matter what's going
Mhm.
on, they will make money. Um, and by the way, speaking of banks, Carlos, you long been mentioning Titans of Wall Street. You know that show that
Oh,
uh,
yeah, on Amazon. It's Amazon. I finished it some time ago.
I think so.
I think
I
it's
found
Amazon.
it.
Yeah.
I find because it wasn't
Yes.
available to me before, and I found it. And I started watching it. It's really kitschy. It's really weirdly put together. I found, but anyways, I
Yes.
started
Yes.
watching because it starts at the whole story of J.P. Morgan, and they've got like these acted out scenes with some dude that's playing J.P. Morgan and interacting with
Yeah.
his dad back in London, and I'm like, what is all this?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. It's
war
good, man.
profiteering from.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very insightful, like some of the things that they said. But the acting is weird. The acting is like
Yeah,
it's not.
it
Yeah,
was
I don't know how to put it, but it is
it's
weird acting. You gotta see it. You gotta see it. Yep.
yeah, it is strange. Anyways, but you're right. It was informative. Like I had no idea that J.P. Morgan got to start again war profiteering during the Civil War,
Yeah, I
but
didn't know that either, man. Yeah.
rebuilding rifles and selling them at a premium to the government and getting in trouble for it. And anyways, needless to say, for 100 plus years, the U.S. banking system, they get to call the shots, and here they are making money hand over fist. Interesting though, Citigroup is gapping up. Bank of America and Wells Fargo are actually moving down early pre-market despite all three having good results. And we saw this yesterday. JP Morgan reported yesterday, and I know that Paris and others got trades on JP Morgan, and it dropped out of the gate and kept going. It was a very down day for JP Morgan. So and you can sort of see it. And what was a gap higher when we were talking about it this time yesterday is a giant red candle on the daily chart. And look at that. It just sold off and never, didn't recover at all. So I don't know what that means for the banks today, but it said Citigroup is moving higher. Wells Fargo and Bank of America moving down. Nothing, no huge stories out of it. Citigroup took a $1 billion charge for losses in related to Russia and I guess whatever their banking operations are over there. Um, Wells Fargo announced that they were cutting about 5,600 jobs, which, is probably just in line with a regular quarter, I think, for Wells Fargo. Bank of America basically didn't say anything, so they were just quiet, which is typical. Bank of America is usually the most reserved, I find, of the banks. They typically don't, sort of don't expose what they're doing as much as the other ones. So pick whichever bank you want. Bank of America typically gets the most volume, but some of the lower, like it doesn't move as much as some of the others, whereas Wells Fargo can move a little bit more. Citigroup's in the middle. So, uh, if you like banking sector, pick whichever one you want. Other than those, Carlos, we're still looking at the gap up list. I was happy to see Netflix gapping up a little bit. It's recovered over $90, but not much more than that. Yeah, it's just sort of hanging out here. Again, I'm still waiting for news. What's happening with Warner Brothers? Um, but it's apparently, Netflix is looking at revising their proposal to them. I don't know what's going on. This all feels messy now, right? What was supposed to be what looked like a simple acquisition, right? When they first said we've made an offer and Warner Brothers board said we've accepted, has gotten very messy. So, anyways, Netflix is green this morning. I still think, it's one of those where you've got to watch because it's gonna be back in play at some point. I just don't know when. And yesterday
Right.
was not the day, really. It didn't trade all that well, but again, you just never know. So mark my words, one of these days, it's gonna be a beautiful Netflix day. I just don't know which day that will be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like one of those. I feel like the analysts. You know when you go on like primetime TV and any of the major news networks, and you get the economists that are like predicting whatever. Hey, the market's going to tank, and then they just keep saying it long enough that eventually they're right. So I'm just going to keep saying
Eventually
Netflix will have
happens.
yeah, one of these days, and then I'll be right, and I'll see. See, I told you, but I've been saying it like every day for a month.
Yeah. That's usually what happens, man. Guys, let's see what else we have on their gap down list this morning. So we'll dive into that. I see Rivian on there, and PDD is probably one of the two better ones off the list. Looking at it quickly, but let's dive into it and see what is going on. But before we do that, welcome to PJB B1V. Sounds like a vaccine username. I know it's not your name. I know I know it's the name that YouTube has provided for you. And if it is your name, oh man, I apologize. I'm so sorry that your parents did that to you. I'm so kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know. I know that's not your name, but welcome to Lambos and Garbage Truck family. Really appreciate you. Glad to have you here. All right, let's see. Let's start here with TCOM. TCOM. Let's go. First one on deck this morning. Trip.com. Wow, someone's getting. Well, we're only down 15%, but it feels like someone should get fired for this. So we're down 15% on Trip.com. 1.9 million shares traded right now, so we got plenty of volume. Pre-market activity looks great. Now, typically, I know you're going to say, Peter, this stock does not trade well intraday. But, man, I like what I'm seeing right now. I really do. So I think this might be the first one on the list today. Let's see. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so there is absolutely news. It looks tradable. I think it's a decent candidate to watch today. This is called China's Expedia. They look, I have to admit, so let me preface the news by saying I do see China's business community as sort of like the Wild West, right? Like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of rules. You can do almost anything. You can copyright whatever, there's no copyright rules. You can take anybody's IP and make it your own, and it just feels like that's been the way they've operated for a long time. So that being said, to get under investigation by China's State Administration for Market Regulation for anti-monopoly. They apparently have an anti-monopoly probe. How bad? What have you done? Like you got to have done something pretty bad for them to take you on as an anti-monopoly. So I don't know what to make of this. I mean, it is bad news for the company. Their stock has been, as you can see, plummeting ever since the news was released. This absolutely looks a play. 2 million shares already. A gap down, and it's been moving lower. So I think it's a decent candidate, but. There's really there's no details about what the anti-monopoly probe is going to mean. And again, we don't hear these often, especially not out of China. So, I mean, whatever's going on, it's not good for TCOM this morning.
Yeah, it's really not good. I like their pre-market today, man. We do have shares for short on it. I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add it to our list here. I'll add it to the primary now because we definitely got space for it. How did our popcorn ticker get up here? Let's move that down. Somehow our popcorn moved up to the primary. It's supposed to be on the secondary, so I'll fix that. But there it is. Trip.com, TCOM. Going to add down the primary list for now. All right, let's continue here, my friends. EOSE. EOSE Energy Enterprise seems to be the name of the ticker, and these guys are down 5.7. 2.4 million shares traded right now, and again, doesn't look like it trades very well. But today they're clearly getting some great volume. Peter, any news that might be tradable for us?
EOS Energy Enterprises. I don't know. They launched a new battery energy storage architecture, and they think it's great. It seems like the market doesn't. I don't. They are, like you pointed out, Carlos, gapping down. It's probably a bad sign for your company when you release an excited press release about your new technology and the market says, no, thank you, and decides to move the stock downward. So maybe they were expecting something else. I don't
Yeah.
really know, but it's not, the market's not reacting as I'm sure the company executives hoped they would.
Yeah, it's not looking good for them here. Next is gonna be PDD is on deck this morning. And by the way, I'm not gonna add that to the list, so I think we'll find better stuff to look at. PDD is next. So PDD continues to have a rough time over the last couple of days. So they gapped down yesterday, and today they're gapping down some more.
Mm-hmm.
Now down 4.2 here. Look at the weakness on it today. 848,000 shares traded. Peter, is just not looking well. Let's see how they traded yesterday. I didn't actually, yeah, see a lot of the action, almost all the action. You could tell by the way that daily candle was there. Previously, you could see was at the pre-market, right? So
Yeah.
beautiful drop at the pre-market. I mean, this looks better than the actual market open. Market open, you did get a pop. You did get a little bit of a drop here, but there's things that traded much, much better. So not sure what to think of it, but again, already pre-market going here down 4.1, Peter. Not doing so hot. I'll probably put it in a secondary, but what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of news. The only headline I can see about PDD says that they're dropping as the Chinese market drops over investors pulling back from Chinese stocks amid overheating concerns, is what the headline says. But PDD seems to have been hit much harder than its peers. A lot of them are down today. JD is down. Where's the other? Pin. Oh no, it's still holding on to green. But yeah, PDD has definitely been hit harder than the rest of them. So I don't, like you said, Carlos, we talk about this. These often are dual traded. The Chinese stocks can be difficult because a lot of the movement happens outside of the US market hours. So it's not good enough to be on my list. I'm not going to put it there today.
All right, gotcha, man. I'll put it in a secondary just to look at it a little bit later and see where it goes. But yeah, not high priority. That's for sure. Okay, and continuing here, we have Rivian is next. We haven't seen this one in quite some time. They're just sliding lower. They're down at 3.4, 718,000 shares traded, as we see here, and they're losing. The interesting thing here is on the daily, right? You're losing this area of support. This 19 has held for some time. We kind of were dabbling right below it 2 trading days ago, and now we're clearly losing that support level that held for quite a bit here. So that could be interesting. 719,000 shares traded. Is there any news worth following through on this one, Peter, that might be fun to watch?
It's not news I like to trade, but they did get a downgrade from UBS. They put them from a neutral to a sell rating with a target below the current price at $15. They're not alone. They've been downgraded quite a bit over the last couple of months. Morgan Stanley, Wolfe Research, Guggenheim, Jefferies all have downgraded them, all with prices below the current price. It's funny. There's only one analyst, Robert Baird, that says that they think they're an outperform and have a $25 target price. Everyone else is pretty bearish on Rivian. So so far the bears seem to have it. So not good enough to trade though, Carlos. This pops up in our list every once in a while. I'm always surprised when it's here. But I think the day for electric car trading, it's past, other than Tesla. Tesla's in its own category. But yeah,
Yeah.
Rivian's not enough for me to be interested.
Yeah, I agree, man. I like the daily, but again, I don't think I'm with you. I don't think it's enough to put it on deck this morning. So if it hits the scanners a little bit later, maybe we could take a look at it. Or if anybody's watching it, call it off. You see something great on it. I'm sorry, RDW. RDW is the name of the ticker. Oh, Redwire. Yeah, we've seen this plenty of times. Every time I come across it, I never end up watching it. So I don't know. I just think it doesn't trade very well. Let's see how it did yesterday. So it did have a sell-off here. It doesn't look too bad looking at a dead chart here. So again, hard to tell. But normally they don't trade very well. So I'm not inclined to put it on my list. Lower price stock, under $10 just the last couple of minutes here. So I'm not sure, Peter. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't really have many thoughts because I just don't like it. It doesn't look that great. This is an aerospace and defense company I mean it's not a low float, but it's might as well be. It's 60 million shares in the float, but yeah, I don't like it.
Yep, I do not like it. As well. It's funny. Once you stopped talking, I was drinking my coffee, and I had to wait a little bit to actually put my cup down and
Oh, that's
swallow.
fair.
And it's just my pet
Right.
peeve with these movies, man. No, no, it's not your fault. It's just my pet peeve with these movies that you see the guy going like this, like he's drinking, and then he immediately starts talking. I'm like, you're not drinking if you could talk that fast without swallowing. Like that in that cup, it has no. They got to start putting like cement balls in there so it can have some weight to it, especially the coffee plastic cups. If you watch movies, they're moving this thing like there's clearly no weight to that cup whatsoever. And the way you're moving it, you can tell there's no weight to it. Like, put some water in it, do something so it can look more realistic. But it is just
Empty
incredible.
suitcases. Steve, you're absolutely right. I notice that all the time
Another
with the
one,
empty suitcases. You ever
yes,
notice that? People whip these suitcases around them like you've got your like cotton ball collection in there. Like what are you traveling with? Because yeah, it's
yeah.
clearly they're empty bags. Anyway.
Oh man, the small things. All right,
Yeah,
the small things.
agreed. That was random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love random stuff, so we do here. Let's go to some. Peter, do you have any random tickers that you like? Because this is
Well,
all we got so far. What else you got on your
well,
end?
it's not too random, but we were talking about electric cars. I said Tesla's in its own category, so let's talk Tesla. Elon announced an early Valentine's gift for all of his Valentines out there. So we'll have to see how John feels about that. They currently offer, or they had offered, or do offer, I guess, a if you want full self-driving, you can buy that as a package. It's about $8,000, but they're going to discontinue that as of Valentine's Day, February the 14th, for those that aren't sure what day that is, and it's only going to be available after that as a monthly subscription. So now they're going to make you pay a subscription if you want full self-driving. So that usually signals yeah, they're looking for revenue. So that's a big change because that is not what their stated approach has been in the past, right? It was always sort of a buy one fee, then you get free or continued upgrades over the wire. Starting to charge a subscription for the full self-driving. Uh, who knows? What else are they going to provide us, make you pay a subscription for the updates? I don't know. But oh, here he is. John's saying he bought the full package in 2025. So now he's wondering what it does to the value. I don't know. Like, are they going to honor if you bought it? Maybe you're grandfathered, so you continue to get all of the full self-driving. It's unclear at this point. I would have to assume, right? Because that they have to grandfather it, but who knows?
Mm.
Uh, oh, it's always been. Oh, I see. So they offer both. I didn't realize. Okay, so you could buy it outright or buy it as a subscription. Ah, okay. There you go. Okay, so there you go. Thank you. Actually, that's helpful. So I thought they were making a full change of the model. All they're doing is they're discontinuing the pay one price model. So there you go. So that would more incline to it being grandfathered in, so that if you paid the one price, you'll still get it on that vehicle, which probably means that's a good thing for your car value, I guess, because now people can get that without having to pay the subscription. I don't have any information as to how much that subscription is going to cost. John, you might actually know what is. So I mean, I doesn't necessarily mean they're changing the price, but I assume that whatever the subscription price will then just continue if it's in existence. They just will not offer the pay one price. $100 a month. Damn, that's more than I would have thought. Okay, worth every penny, he says. All right. There you go. So,
If you're
so test,
using it actively, yeah,
yeah,
I could see that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Wolf G, there you go. Actually, a good point. Does the subscription thing transfer? I don't know. I assumed it would, but maybe it wouldn't. Like a warranty, I assumed it would be transferable, but maybe not. Then that would be, yeah, bad for the value of your vehicle. Anyways, So I think Tesla is going to be in play today, like it's always in play. As you guys probably know, yesterday I didn't go crazy, but I mean I did take 6 trades on Tesla, all in the sort of first hour, and I did end up making it work. It did end up, being net green for me, but it was a rough ride. I was exhausted after the first hour of trading, so um, but yeah, that was my focus yesterday. We'll be watching it again today. Other than that, Carlos, there's a lot of stuff in the red. Well, all of the Magnificent Seven are in the red. Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta. Pick whichever you want. They're not doing much right now. They're all just gapping down a little bit. NVIDIA, of course, one of my good go-tos. I thought it was sort of a rough trade at the open, but it ended up getting this very interesting midday move that I wasn't able to participate in, or I didn't, which made me sad because it basically went from the low of day to high of day in one move between about 11 and in about an hour, between 11 and noon, and then came all the way back down, almost all the way back down again. And that was really its big move of the day, but none of it gave me sort of the trading patterns I was looking for. What was actually did give a good trading pattern that I also missed was a PLTR. It did this sort of the same thing between that 11 and noon. It made its move from low to high of day, but it actually gave a great like little my pattern, the mountain pass at the top. And would have been an awesome reversal. I wasn't watching it close enough, so I think that's Carlos. I'm taking a note from that. It was a note in my journal that I've got to keep PLTR. We'll keep watching it because you don't know what it's going to do over the course of the day, and it's trading now like the stocks that I love, and I have to remember that sometimes it can get into that good trading because you look at the open and you're like, oh, horrible day for PLTR, but a lot of stocks are like that, right? Doesn't mean it can't
Yeah.
trade well later. Yeah, and that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, awesome, man. I did add Tesla here, and again, PLTR is a fun one, so I might add that one as well. Right now, pre-market pretty quiet, so I'll put it on a secondary list. I haven't traded this one in a very long time, so hoping today we can get something out of it. So PLTR on the secondary list and Tesla on the primary. All right, friends, let's go to you guys. Let's see what you guys like this morning. What happened?
That's just I'm just Lori laughing at John's analogy here. It's I don't think that's quite the same.
Mm. Let me see. I'm logging into chat. Does your Netflix subscription transfer when you sell your house?
We were
No?
talking about the self-driving subscription, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's quite the same analogy. It would be more like your security system because it's installed in the house and you can't take it with you. So I think your
Mm.
security subscription, would potentially transfer. At least it does in Canada. Although I've learned that you guys in the US don't rent. I was going to say your water heater rental, but I understand that you guys
No,
don't rent water
it's not.
heaters or furnaces
It's
or air
not a
conditioners
thing.
like we do in Canada. When you sell a
Yeah.
house, those usually transfer to the new owner. So because otherwise you
Yeah.
don't have a
How,
furnace.
how much is a water here crazy expensive up there, or what's the deal with the renting? It's just a thing, I guess.
No, I don't know. Like it's a ridiculous thing, Carlos. The problem is you can rent a water heater for, I think they're about $20 a month or something. Like it's not that much, but it's one of
Okay.
those things where if you actually look at the price, you can buy a water heater for what, like $800? Like they're not that
Okay. So the same
expensive.
that's down here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
The
Yep.
the problem is, people forget, and then you're renting that water heater at $20 a month for the next 10 years, 15 years, right? Until it dies,
Hmm.
and then they just put you on another renewal. It's like any one of these things. By the time you've paid all the rental fees, you've paid for that water heater like 4 or 5 times over. So
Yeah.
it's
Do they service it? They come install it and do all that? Something goes wrong?
usually, yeah. But I
Okay.
mean,
So
a water heater, in my experience, it doesn't need servicing until it needs replacing, right? Like it basically works until it dies,
yeah.
almost all
Yeah.
the time. And
Yeah. It's
especially
just the
nowadays,
installation,
because they're
right?
so relatively cheap. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't fix them. They just like, yeah, it's broke, get a new one. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Um, all right, let's get to it, guys. Let's see what you guys like this morning. Again, not much on my list right now. TCOM and Tesla so far. A couple of secondary stuff on there. Sigma will start with you. You have ROLR. What is this? ROLR. Let's take a look. Higher Roller Technology. What a name. Higher Roller Technology. Let's see why they're bringing it up. It's up 342%, Peter. Wow. 23 million shares traded so far, sitting in the American Stock Exchange, which I typically don't like, and hard to borrow. What is the float on this thing? I don't have it handy, Peter. Do you have it? Flow for Higher Roller Technology. I feel like I'm
High
gambling with
roller
this
technology.
stock.
That it does not. It sounds sketchy to me. Just, but anyways.
Sounds very sketchy.
2 million shares in the float.
Oh, oof. That
And I
is,
mean, I guess the name makes sense. All right, it's a gambling company. What does High Roller Technologies do? They must make online gambling, right? That's got to be what they do. Oh yeah, they run an online casino. Okay.
okay.
Um, they are partnering with Crypto.com. Oh, Carlos, this is the news we love. They're partnering with Crypto.com to do what? To enter the prediction market space. You know how we love the prediction markets, so this is where you can basically bet on anything with no consequences. Bet on anything you want. Bet on whether it's going to snow today. Bet on, the next, I don't know, car that drives down the road, the color of it. I don't know. It's
Mm.
so prediction markets are fascinating to me. I think who is it that someone made the comment in the chat room the other day, and they said, I can't remember who said this, but they said betting has never added anything of value to society. And I thought it was a comment that really struck me. I can't remember who said that. But
Yeah.
was it Brian? Maybe it was yeah, David from Connecticut. Brian said it. I'll give you that, Brian. Then I'll give you credit for that. It really struck me when you said that, and it made me think about it. And I think you're absolutely right. Right? Betting has never added any value to any society, and the fact that we've got all of these online betting, and now we're getting into these prediction markets, which basically says, you can invent your own bet. We've got a whole bunch of things you can bet on, everything from world events to when your neighbor will put out their garbage. Like it is that ridiculous. Some of the stuff, prediction market stuff you can bet on. It boggles my mind, right? It's just an excuse
Yeah.
to give your money over to a corporation somewhere. So everyone out there, everyone listening right now, my advice to you is, if you really want to blow some money for some fun, no, that's exactly what you're doing. But never, 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 never bet on anything, sports, prediction markets, on anything. If you're doing it to try and make money, you won't. Period. Full stop. You won't.
It's tough.
Otherwise, they wouldn't run the business, right? If you could actually make money at it, they wouldn't run the company, and their stock wouldn't be up 340%. Why is it up 340%? Because smart people who are investing in the company behind the one that's going into the prediction markets know how much money they can make off of that.
Oh,
So
yeah. It's big,
don't be the
big, big
sucker.
money. Big, big
All
money.
right. Anyways. All right.
Absolutely. I'm putting that in my
That's my
popcorn
rant for
stock.
this morning.
I'm
Yeah.
putting that in my
It's moving.
popcorn ticker because man, it is it is on fire. I want to see what this looks like a little bit later. It is rocking here, friends. Okay, what else? What else we got going on? APLD. A lot of you guys been liking this one lately. APLD. So right now, pre-market down 2%. Let's see how it traded yesterday. That's going to be more important. Wow, beautiful drop off. I think you guys did mention this. So beautiful drop off yesterday. It normally does not trade like this, but I gotta say though, the last couple of days, it has been trading much cleaner, especially at the market open. Look at it the day before, the 12 also had a nice pop up there. Yesterday, the beautiful drop off, and today you're not getting much off the pre-market. Like if you go look back at those 2 previous days, not a whole lot on the pre-market, but man, market open has been trading well. So I'm inclined to add it. I don't know if it really belongs on a primary list, Peter. And again, there's
No.
last results I don't think are going to be what happens today. There's no connection there, but yeah, I think more of a secondary. We'll see what happens. If you guys see something great, call it out, but we'll see where it goes here. Short high roller, I don't know, man. Careful with that stock. Careful. I mean, it's what does your strategy tell you? What does your trade book tell you? Are you just getting in just to get in and then be part of the gambling action? What does your strategy tell you, right? So that should answer that question, whether you get in or not. All right, let's see what else we have. NVIDIA, anybody mentioned NVIDIA? We got Tesla already, APLD. We looked at the secondary list for me. What else, friends? Just combing through the list here. I don't see anything else. NVIDIA. Okay, I see. Chris, you mentioned NVIDIA. Let's look at that one. It's not doing much. It is NVIDIA. We got space for it. So I only have two on my primary list. So, but it's not doing a whole lot here. We'll put it here next to Tesla. How about JP Morgan? Peter, you spoke about JP Morgan earlier. Are you watching? Man, they're already starting to crawl lower. This is interesting. I'm going to put JP Morgan on deck today again. This is very interesting. JP Morgan down some more, man. Down 1% here. And banks typically do not move like this, banking stocks. So it's not loving this credit card thing. That's only big thing that we had lately is this credit card news, right? Of interest rates. I know they had their earnings, which they usually do well. And then they had that news about putting money aside, right, Peter, for some project they're davering, in or dipping their toes in, whatever that is. But it seems aggressive to me. I don't know. I'm gonna put it on the primary list. We'll see where we go from there. All right. Anything else, friends? Anything else? We'll do one more. We could do one more here. MSTR being mentioned on both sides today. MSTR. Okay, I see the possible breakout. I started with CleanSpark. If you look at CleanSpark, CL, what is it? CLST? No, CLSK. SK. There it is. So CleanSpark, MSTR, yeah, they're all moving up this morning. They actually MSTR and CLSK both look great. So pick your favorite out of those two. I gotta say I do. Although CLSR is not ideal. What is it? CLSK. Sorry. What is this thing? CLSK. Although this one is not ideal, it does look better today. It really does. Pre-market actually looks great. So I'd rather put this one on. If I'm going to watch one, it's going to be this one. So CLSK.
Crypto's having a minor renaissance. It's moving back here a little bit. Bitcoin prices are up at they hit 96,000 overnight, but are just below that right now. So that's higher than they have been. Remember yesterday they were sitting at like 92. Now we're up to 96, 95, 96. So that's good news. We'll see if it can continue to climb, but it's doing so slowly.
All right. Manmundasi said he signed up for a 7-day trial. What do I get with that? What do you sign up for? Netflix, Amazon Prime? Like, what did you sign up for 7 days? And we can definitely answer what you get for that. But with that, friends, head over to bearwithtraders.com where we can show you what's happening here for Wednesday. So click on webinars. You can see what's happening for the entire week. Today we'll focus on Wednesday.
Yeah, we have we got a whole debate kicked off here on betting and lotteries and betting. And anyways, it's interesting. My dad always, when I was a kid, he worked for Statistics Canada, so he worked with numbers all day. And he used to refuse to buy lottery tickets because my mom always wanted to buy them and my dad never wanted to. He in frustration used to call it all the time, "It's a tax on the mathematically disinclined." So, which I always thought was interesting. So, and here I've got some lottery tickets. My wife likes to buy them. So I know she's throwing her money away, but it's for her, it feels like an insurance policy, right? And I'm like, that's horrible insurance.
We do buy in. Once it's like at a million, close to a billion, we do buy the lottery thing here. Because, man, I would love to see people's face when I say I won and I never played in my life, like only 3 times a year when it's above this price. Oh, they're going to be pissed that they've been playing all year. They're not going to be happy. So that's about it. But, I always thought about it this way. The tickets that come in the box, and we'll do this quickly, that people just they go to 7-Eleven, they buy the tickets from the box. Yeah. If there's really is a mega ticket in there, I'm sorry, but I'm buying the whole box. If I'm the attendant, I'm buying the whole box. Give me the box. I'm buying, I'm taking it home, and I know it's guaranteed. But why they're not doing that? Because it's not there. It's not there. So it's just crazy to me to think that way. But anyway, Peter, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, it's as people are saying, you can call a lottery an idiot tax. It's a polite way of saying it. Look, your chances are very slight. I mean, I used to do this a webinar actually here at Bearable Traders where we talked about, your chances of winning the lottery. I think your chances of getting hit by lightning are like you're 20 times more likely to get hit by lightning than you are to actually win the lottery. So, anyways. But yes, if you're doing it for fun, then fine, right? You're paying your money for the enjoyment, for the dream, whatever. But if you're buying lottery tickets thinking that you're making an investment in winning, that's a fallacy, right? That's where people get into trouble. So, anyways, all right, it's Wednesday, which means it's Wisdom Wednesday. Look at us dropping some wisdom on you. Um, and we do have a couple psychology webinars, starting with our noon session by Dr. V. She's going to be talking about futures in the webinar room. Always a great session. Hopefully, you will have the opportunity to attend that. And then tonight, we've got Wesley, who's going to be back with us talking about mental resilience. That's at 8 p.m. Once again in the webinar room. Both of those are for our elite members. Hopefully, you will take advantage. If you want to go to any webinar, or you can watch our inventory, right? We got a whole library of all past webinars that have happened within the community. You can get access to that by being a member at bearabletraders.com and then go to the membership option that's right for you. A lot of the recorded webinars, you need to be an elite member, so make sure you pick the membership option that gives you the access that you need. And if you want information on the markets, tradingterminal.com. That's the place to go. At Trading Terminal, you can get all information on the markets, including the economic data we've been talking about all morning here, the news, events, scanners, the Atlas tool, which gives you market volumes. That's where your live simulator is, where the funded accounts reside. There's lots of stuff going on in there, let alone webinars, both free and paid, for your educational benefit. So go to tradingterminal.com to find all of that information. Carlos, we have always lots of stuff happening around here. And today in our YouTube feed, I think we've got a special guest coming on a little bit later. So that'll be fun. And we'll have a number of guests coming on over the course of the next couple of weeks. And don't forget, we have a draw, which can happen at any time. Maybe it's going to happen right now. So you can't just join later, right? We were guys in the chat room. We were commenting on some people on YouTube. We noticed our viewership spiked up around 10:30 when people were waiting for the draw. So we're going to do the draw at any time, whenever we want. So maybe we'll do it right now. We're 6 minutes to the open. Maybe we won't do it right now.
Yeah, we might do it 5 minutes after the open. I don't know.
Could be.
Could be.
Anyways,
all right, friends.
One way or the other, stay tuned. Make sure you're still watching the YouTube channel, and we'll let you know when it's time to hashtag away. All right.
All right. Excellent, friends.
With that, Carlos, let's why don't you help us set some levels? Moderators, get your lists in. We'll get ready for this open coming in 5.5 minutes.
All right, perfect, friends. Not a lot on the list today, as you can see here. So we'll go through this quickly, and then we'll hand it off the chat to our friends over here. Let's start with JP Morgan on deck today. Again, interesting chart. I think it could be in for another great day today. We'll see. You typically banks don't trade very well. 307.60 is the low of the pre-market, and the high of the pre-market is above the previous day close at 312.51. So we'll mark that level there. Towards the bottom, we're looking at 303.39. We'll slam one there, and then right here it's a couple of levels. I'm going to take this one here at 300, and then you can look at the bottom of these wicks over here. I'm not going to go too crazy, but right here 298 in case we get there. That's a stretch. Like, we're going 298 here, that is a stretch, but we'll see, man. Anything's possible. Just look at the big red candle we put in yesterday. Above the pre-market highs, great area right over here around 317.11, so that's good. Then above that, highs and lows for the last two trading days on JP Morgan. So we'll see where that leads us today. TCOM is next. Another one that has a great pre-market activity, great volume, down 15%, 60% now. 62.80 is the low of the pre-market, the high all the way up at 70.80. So we'll mark those two levels. Let's head over to the left, see what we find. Typically, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a really bad daily on TCOM. They don't trade very well. You can see some of these levels here, 69.82. You got another one here at 68.68. And it's just, again, it's just a messy daily. We'll try to do the best we can as far as levels. And if we dive in here in between July and August, what do we have? We have one here, 64.84. We have another one down at the bottom here at 61.39, and all the way down here at 60.18. Clearly not a stock that we look at. Again, the levels are messy, but we're going to do our best to see if we can get something out of it today. I think it looks very interesting, especially in this pre-market. Our good buddy Tesla, surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Pre-market high is just below the previous day close. We'll mark it here at 447. Pre-market close at 447.20. And all we need to do is mark our low. Our low is at 443.21. And once you do that, guys, you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. There's really nothing else for us to add on there. Let's move on to our other good buddy, NVDA, also surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Has not been able to really break out one way or the other. Right above the price action, we do have an area 184.97. I'm going to mark that down. Look how many days opening, closing right around that area. So the more touches you have, the more interesting that stock is going to be, that level is going to be. So you want to mark that down. 185.58, good spot up there. And then towards the bottom, 184.01. Low of the pre-market is set, and again, you're just stuck here. You're just stuck between all the highs and lows and the previous day close stuff there. So not a whole lot to add when it comes to those levels. Next is going to be CLSK, if I could say correctly like I did now. Great. CLSK 1341. Here it is, and then towards the bottom, the low of the pre-market just above the previous day close at 1258. Previous day close is 3 cents, 2 cents, no, 3 cents below that. So pretty close there. Towards the bottom, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. Don't make it complicated, guys. Many levels here. Do not need to add any more. Towards the top, in case we do get going, look at this area consolidation. Boom, 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 boom. It's just a lot of back and forth here. So we're going to mark down 15. We're going to another level around 1450. And then right here, you kind of got your pre-market high, but slightly above that, there is an area at 1373 for CLSK. All right, perfect. Peter, what is our team watching? And then we'll be handing off the chat room shortly.
Yes, our team has got their lists in, and I was getting ready for the market open myself. My list contains the usual suspects in Tesla, NVIDIA, and AMD, PLTR. I'm also watching TCOM because it is absolutely moving today. ROLR, Roller, ROLR is our popcorn stock for the day, and I'm going to watch Wells Fargo as well. Gary looks like he's focused here on MSTR today, which is interesting. Thor, as always, is going to be looking at his futures contracts. Megan is going to be watching Tesla, AMD, Micron, and MSTR. Big list for her. Mike is going to be watching Tesla and AMD. There's my 1-minute alarm. We're almost there. And then Brian, who'll be trading live, is Tesla, AMD, NVIDIA, Wells Fargo, ClearSpark, CLSK, and then, of course, the market indices. We'll let them go live in the chat room. Let's get going here, guys. We got 45 seconds. Less.
All right. Take care, guys. Stay safe. We'll continue here on YouTube, my friends, and on X. YouTube and on X. So 30 seconds to the market open. And we have our list ready. BDD, APLD. Okay. And roller. All right, awesome. 1 minute, 5 minute, and our charts are ready. We'll bring in Peter. Here's the bell. Let's rock and roll. All right, friends. See where the action is. See where our strategies are. No FOMO, no chasing. Don't break your rules. Be disciplined. All that fun stuff. Rollers rolling, baby. Rolling
Tesla
the dice.
Drop. I was hoping for a pop higher on Tesla so I could short it. I wanted a short after yesterday that was just going to work. And of course, today it just drops right out of the gate. Everything dropped right out of the gate. Very heavy. Darn it. Darn it. Darn it.
Yeah, it says roller. Oh, man, look at that. How do you trade that? 17, back down to 15. How do you trade this? You got to be so fast. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Careful, careful.
Oh my. I'm watching TCOM and Tesla, but they both just sort of dropped. Like NVIDIA did the same thing, dropped right off the open, and
Yeah.
Nothing. What if maybe there's an opportunity here on AMD. Oh, AMD. Come on, man.
What's going on with AMD?
It keeps popping up, and I'm like, oh, I should short it because the Atlas looks like it's weak, but then it drops too fast for me, so I don't want to chase it. But yeah, now it's going down to the 216. Yeah, took out of those orders at 216. Hmm, that's too bad.
Everything's showing a little bit of weakness right now.
Yeah.
PLTR. CLSK taking off. That
Excuse
looks
me.
nice. CLSK breaking out here. Doesn't seem like it has great volume. Oh man, that is
No.
that's a nice change in direction. Wow, NVDA just sold off here, friends. Really, really weak right now. Nothing we love. Okay, just watching TCOM. It's just no volume. I got a little bit of volume starting out and then just completely fell apart as far as the volume.
Yeah.
So that's not going to
Yeah.
be good, you know.
No, it died quickly, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Roller. There it is. Halt towards the bottom is coming. Think you're going to get the break. And then how many people get caught with this, man? I got to tell you, that's painful. There it is. Halted. That's painful. That really is. All right, PDD. CLSK. I thought TCOM was going to try to recover a little bit of these drops here because it was down like 15%, 16, and it's just continuing. Next level I have is
Yeah.
61.39, but the volume is not there though, so that's why I'm not touching right now. It's not getting good
No.
volume per candle here. This is why Peter, we keep going back to Tesla and Nvidia. Because if you look at
Yep.
the first couple of candles on both of these, it looks so clean. Now, my strategy hasn't hit here yet, but look how beautiful these candles look compared to a TCOM. I mean, this is not great. The candles look great, but the volume, the way it's doing it's not great. JP Morgan looks messy. Where are you gonna go here? Long or short? Snow, nothing at the moment. Um,
Wow. Well, the market is, what the heck is going on here? I wanted to,
APLD.
Carlos, I'm watching AMD
Hmm.
at VWAP here. I was looking for a short on it, but the market is pushing higher. It's a little spiky, so
Yeah,
I don't know that it's going to, like, NVIDIA and AMD have both come back to VWAP. Tesla was already there and is dropping back towards the low. I was thinking that there's a short in it, but it's not looking great. Of course, watch it go down to the low of day and I'll have missed it. That's always the fear, right? You're gonna miss all the fun. I just
good,
can't do it. It's
buddy.
not good
Someone
enough.
that joined earlier the Lambos and Garbage Truck, and I meant to shout you out, but we got busy with some stuff. Was it Corey? I think it was Corey. Corey, yeah. Welcome to the Lambos and Garbage Truck family, my friend. I don't think we
Welcome.
got to you, but I was
Mm.
like, I got to get back to him. So welcome. Good to have
Yeah,
you.
yeah. You gotta get a welcome
Oh
if
yeah,
you're here.
absolutely. And you're giving us take a look at CVX. What is going on there? Chevron. Yeah, all these oil companies, man, they're in play. They're hard to day trade though. They really are hard to day trade. So I'll be
They
careful with them,
are.
but they're in play, man. Bigger picture, they definitely are. Especially everything going on with Venezuela. We don't know what's going to come out of that, as good or bad. Um, I know the White House has been posting pictures about the gas. I got to say, the gas is cheap. Gas is cheap. I'm enjoying that. You know, under $3 in a lot of places. So um, you do see the difference when you go to the pump. Okay, here it is. TCOM 5 minute golfing.
It amazes to me. It's I don't know where it comes from, Carlos. Maybe it comes from the 70s. I know when I was a young kid, gas prices were insanely expensive, but there seems to the US seems just remarkably focused on gas prices. I've never quite understood it. Why is that
It,
so? Like it's such a
it
minor
drives
part of your
everything.
expenses,
No, it's not.
but it
No,
doesn't. Like
it
the
does,
actual
Peter.
amount of money you spend on gas
No, see,
is not
you
that
look,
much.
you're looking at it wrong. See, so the problem
Yeah.
is gas dries everything up. It's not you. We're talking about the truckers. We're talking about that. We don't care about our gas price. You know, it's everything
Uh,
else. It's if you look how
okay.
many trucking here, Peter, is everything. Trucking moves this country. Like when you're in
Okay.
operations, you realize how big trucking business is. It's incredible, you know. And when those guys are paying a lot, guess what? They're not paying for it. They're passing it down to you.
Mm.
So that's what you're looking at. You're not looking at your yeah.
That's
I don't look at the gas myself. Like I know it's cheap because somebody mentioned. I'm like, is it? I went look. Oh yeah, it is cheap, but it's not. You know, it's not about your individual car. You know.
that seems like an economic awareness that I wouldn't credit to the average person out there. But okay,
Oh,
I
that
guess it's
that's true.
possible.
That's true. Yeah, if you're not involved with the shipping, and yeah, yeah, because I remember getting rates. It's like this is 5,000 to go 3 states. It was 2,300 last year. Like you know, so what we did, we passed it down to the buyer. You got to pay for this, man.
Mm.
You know, so
All
what
right,
they did, they passed it down to
every,
you. Yeah.
everybody's telling me I'm wrong. So okay, I guess you know what? Perhaps this is me living sort of my privileged life, right? Because I mean, I buy
Hmm.
gas. I don't care what the cost is. I just put my credit card in. I don't even look at what the price is when I'm done. Like I don't care.
Hmm.
So, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
point.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe this is just me.
It's not like what you're paying. It's just everything goes down when the gas prices goes down, and you
Uh,
see it too in the summer too. It gets crazy. Um,
it just it still strikes me that like so many decisions, political, economic, and that are made on gas prices,
everything
and
is
it seems like
yes.
it seems over. I don't know. It just seems a little heavy. But anyways, still, I'm watching the markets, guys. We're talking about this because things are pretty flat. I mean, I'm watching AMD. Like I told you guys, I was looking for a short. I didn't like it, and I was right, at least so far. I mean, it is dead flat here on the VWAP. I noticed the Tesla is doing the same thing. We just had ROLR, which did reopen a minute ago, and then it halted again. So it reopened, spiked higher and halted it was open for all of 42 seconds. So there you go. So that was not very long. So this ROLR is proving to be very volatile this morning, hitting its limit up, limit down halts, which is interesting. This is actually interesting that the first halt of the day was a halt on the downside and then it spiked higher to halt higher. That is not a typical pattern. Normally it moves higher for like the first two halts, then it's the third or fourth one that halts on the way down. So this is interesting. It may still have some life left in it. Not an easy trade, and I'm not recommending it for anyone, to be honest, but it's interesting to watch. Why we call it a popcorn stock, right?
Okay. Let's see, friends. All right, let's see what we got going on here. I'm just confirming my daughter has an appointment for the dentist later today, so just making sure that's all taken care of. All right, let's focus in. Tesla. Nothing. No good 5-minute ORBs. NVIDIA is probably the best 5-minute ORB, and I don't really like. It's funny, we were talking about this yesterday in our P Capital 5-minute ORB webinar. We don't like these wicks for 5-minute RB, right? Sometimes it works. This is one where it actually works, but typically this is not ideal for that 5-minute ORB. Look at it go. And it continues to break. Roller. Right, oh man, this is I could feel your pain. Whoever's in this, I could feel your pain. That's
what we were talking about.
Because you know what happens, right, Peter? You get stuck, you bail out, and then you cut your losses. I'll bite the bullet, and then boom, it's back to your break even.
AMD did finally drop here to low of day. It just hit a new low, as did Tesla. I did not end up taking it, which is I probably should have stuck with it, but I didn't take it. Rough day this morning so far for me anyway. So like not rough like yesterday. Yesterday at this time I was already 3 or 4 trades deep. Now I'm just watching today. But it's the open made it look like we were missing a whole lot, wasn't it? Because it looks like everything just sort of dropped right off the open. It looked like we were going to get a big moves, but that hasn't sort of continued to pan out. So,
oh man, how many likes do we have? Let's see how many likes do we have. If we have, well, I think we might have. We'll do something that I think we'll do. Let's see. 258. All right, we're not there yet. 258 likes so far.
All right. We're coming up to, we've got 34. We've got, guys, about 20 seconds before roller opens. It's going to reopen at 9:44 and 14 seconds. So we've got 15 seconds from now.
And then what do we have at 10? Existing homes. That doesn't.
Let's watch.
That doesn't do anything.
So
checking your calendar. Yeah, so I can see what you had there. But
roll LR about to open now. Here we go. There it is. It's open. Let's see what it's going to do. It's opening slightly lower, but it is moving higher. God, I don't like this is. This is a total crapshoot.
Me and you should take 100 shares. Let's take 100 shares, me and you.
Oh no, I'm not doing that. I can't, Carlos.
Let's get our hands dirty, Peter, for a little bit. Let's roll up our sleeves.
If we traded this in our funded account, would that invalidate it?
No, you can actually trade this in your funded account. There's nothing stopping you from trading this. I would not dare trade this in my funded account. I don't want to be stopped out because I went below the threshold.
Funded. Hey, is my funded account?
Is it open yet? Funded? Let's see.
I don't know. I'm afraid to hit the button because I don't want to start it if it's already active. Let's see here. ROLR. Let's see if I can trade this ridiculous.
Guys, no trades for me yet. Looking, searching, nothing. I don't see anything I love. PLTR was a beautiful engulfing. I didn't have it on my primary, so it wasn't up on the charts, but PLTR was probably the best trade that I regret not seeing. This was awesome. Look at this engulfing. This is perfect, right? So this grabs my attention. And then if you look at the guts inside, the 1 minute, I mean, this is just beautiful. Look at the drop, the pullback, the confirmation. Alongside with an engulfing, great risk reward. Previous day close above the previous the VWAP. It was just a perfect combination. So hopefully you guys took that. Wow.
ROLR halted again.
Oh man, that is brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
There goes a $200.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you don't do it, Carlos.
So you don't do
That's
it. Even with a
exactly
hundred,
why you
even
don't
with a
do it.
hundred shares, this would have been a $200 loss right here, and it could be more. It could end
Yeah.
up being 3 or 4, depending how it opens up
Yeah.
next. That's 100 shares,
Yeah.
and what makes these things attractive is people want to go in with 1,000 shares because they can afford, 16,000 of buying power.
Right.
It's a ugly math. It's a ugly math. Um, all right,
Yeah.
CLSK above the VWAP. It's kind of throwing itself
Oh,
over it. Let's see if it means anything to
AMD
us.
getting a bounce here. So
All right, let me go check the likes, see how we're doing. So refresh the button. Ooh, still. All right, CRSK, man. I'm thinking of a long here. I want to see if we can get a pullback. So not yet. I want to wait for the setup because this was not really breaking the VWAP. I know if you have the VWAP a little bit lower, yes. But I want to see if this can be the actual breakout. Give me the pullback and let's get the confirmation. So I'm looking at that. We'll come back to that in just a second. And I want to see what else is giving us a VWAP breakout. Tesla rejected the VWAP right back down. TCOM actually broke out of the VWAP too. So I like TCOM for long. It just doesn't have the volume. Because I think usually stocks tend to overreact a little bit. But our strategy here, you got the breakout. Let's see if we can get the pullback. Let's see here. Oh man. CRSK did not do the move. This is not our move. It's breaking out. It's going well here, up, but that's not our move. So we can't chase that. TCOM on the other hand, right here, our stop's got to be 62. So that's almost 70 cents. 63, I mean. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go long TCOM. My stop's 70 cents, so I'm long TCOM here.
wow.
Let's see. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I never trade this. Never.
No,
But
I know. Well, can't say never. Not
never. I
now.
can't say never anymore. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. We're long here. 64.84 is the next level I have. Not the best entry for our strategy. The entry should be here. So that would have been around 63.57. We're like 20 cents off of that. So, not ideal, but 20 cents is not going to break the bank here. It might get stopped out sooner, but it's not going to break the bank. Let's see, 64.84. I'm going to try to get as close as possible to that if the momentum continues. So long TCOM for our VWAP breakout strategy. We got a okay setup here. Let's see if we can get it going. So stop loss at 63, 63.01, anywhere in this area. Usually I would love my stop to be 62.82, but we're so far out that I think we got to be as close as possible to the VWAP as we can. So hopefully it doesn't come down too low to test that. Hopefully we can get a good breakout. And then CLSK did break out. Beautiful, man. If this would have happened above the VWAP, this strategy here, I would have taken that. I would have definitely taken that. But
Would you?
again, it's just
Really?
yeah. If this would have happened above the VWAP, like this
Above
breakout
the VWAP. Yeah.
above the VWAP, yeah. But it was just right on it, so it's like that's not really your strategy. But look at it go here, up 30 cents, and we're on TCOM. Let's see, if TCOM can get to 64.84. Might take a bit here as it does that, so we'll sit and wait.
All right.
MU at VWAP.
ROLR.
Okay.
Sorry, ROLR about to open in 15 seconds again.
Oh, this is going to be
We'll
interesting.
see. At some point, they're going to move to a 10-minute halt, but I think this will still be a 5-minute halt. They don't sort of pre-announce that. Should be in about 3 seconds from now. 2, 1. There you go. Reopened right on schedule. Look at this. It's now reopened at $13. So Carlos, you're absolutely right, right? If we had bought this,
Yeah,
where would we have
a hun- a
reopened?
hun- $100
Yeah.
here at 16, where we're down 2.5.
Yeah. And look at this. Look how fast it's
Yeah,
moving down.
yeah, it's
Next
probably gonna be
level
halted
down
again.
is $12.30. We'll see if it hits that. Boy, I hope Andrew's okay. Haven't heard from him this morning. I did
Mm,
message him. Haven't heard. We got Paris and Brian trading live in the chat room. Paris got another good short on NVIDIA today.
yep, yep.
He took that. He took a the VWAP bounce short. Good trade.
How many accounts do we trade on? Actively, just our Interactive Brokers account.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the funded account, we have the funded account, but we don't actively trade on it. We want to start actively trading on it, but we forget. Like we get into our actual trading and we forget about the funded account. So we'll go. I did that move up there? That did not move up there, TCOM, because I've been watching the price on like the ticker here,
No.
and I did not see that 64.84. So that just probably appeared there because I would have definitely taken a partial. Like I'm watching the bid and ask and a montage on it, and I did not see that ticker get hit unless it happened so fast that I missed it. There's another one. See, just happened again. So yeah, all right. So it's not hitting up there. It's just being printed. Order cake. You got filled up here at 64.84 on that wick on a live account. Sim account, even on a sim account, you shouldn't get filled.
Well, no, sim account you could get filled because if it sees the price, yeah, it depends. The price would have
Yeah,
had to hit the bid or ask for you to get there. So,
really, you got filled.
huh.
That's
I
interesting.
didn't see it either.
On a live account, it just appeared. I didn't see it in my montage, so I don't think
Hmm.
with Interactive Brokers we would have got filled. Who knows? Maybe your broker's the one doing these transactions. They'll take your order. It could happen. So many stuff that could happen in the back end. Who knows? Who knows? All right, this is somewhat working. I'm concerned what's happening here. We just keep printing to 64.84, but we don't move up. Like,
Yeah,
what's going on here? And there's
it
no way
looks,
I
it looks
can time that.
stuck.
Yeah. Let's see here. It's trying. It is trying. All right, now we might get this. Okay. See some of the ass coming in here. No. Rami, not yet. Not yet. 86.70, 86, 87.60, not yet. I'm waiting for the likes to hit our goal. If you guys know what our goal is, we're very close. But if the likes hit that, then we'll run it right now. As soon as the likes hit that goal of ours. But we're not there on the likes. All right, let me see here, friends. We are pushing on T-Com. Peter, are you in anything or you're out of...
No, I'm just watching here, watching Roller just for fun. Regretting. I mean, AMD would have stopped me out by now had I got into that.
Okay.
NVIDIA actually bounced here. I know that Paris is still nursing his trade here on NVIDIA. It's doing quite well for him, so that's going well.
All right, we're getting close,
Ooh,
friends.
Tesla.
We're going to start getting a partial here. Let's see. 84, 64.84.
Wow, Carlos, not your typical trade here.
No, yeah, man. Definitely not a stock that we look at. I think I want to take a partial here.
Yeah,
Because we're
say,
very close. You know what? I'm at least gonna do 10%. I'll do another 10 if I have to, but at least get something. And
Yeah.
I might do another 10. If we go lower, if we go below 64.40,
I
I'm gonna take another 10.
I agree with that because
Yeah, it's looking
it's
toppy.
sketchy.
I'm taking another one. Let's just take a
Sketchy.
full partial here. So, um, took another one there, because it might come down, but we're at a good spot. We're close enough. We're 40 cents away from it. Why not? And the first partial was 20 cents away from it. So, partialing here, and we are set. Um, all right, friends. First trade of the day in the books. Tesla, NVDA, man, NVIDIA's feeling the weakness. Let's see what the very interesting spot here. 181.79 is the low. We're looking to get some support here, and let's see if it does that. And TCOM, that was a good decision. Regardless, it could go up to 66. Doesn't matter. This was a good decision because you guys remember you gotta make decisions with what you have, right? The information you're getting. What happens after is just you don't know. This can come back to the VWAP. It can go back up to green for all we care, right? But you got to make the decision with the information you have and just move on. Don't change your plan next time you come across the
Yeah.
same thing, because what happens is then that time it doesn't work out, or it doesn't do this. So let's just be careful with that. Uh, what else? What else? What else? There you go. I hit the like, 378. So 378 likes so far, my friends. 378 likes. So I don't do it by quantity. I do it by percentage.
Look at
So usually 10 to 20%
Paris,
is what I
man.
take off.
He's
Was
in a
Paris dabbling in? What did he trade? NVIDIA?
his screen. NVIDIA seems to be what he's
Yeah.
on. His screen is stuck on Intel here, but he's trading NVIDIA.
Okay. Oh, he just got in. Long Intel.
Well, it looks like he
Yeah,
did, yeah.
yeah. Intel's
That's still
becoming
that's I don't know
like
about
a must
Intel.
watch, like a must watch ticker lately.
I'm not convinced.
We need more. We need more information on it.
See,
Okay.
he just got out of Intel. Pretty
Yeah.
much just with a small
In
loss.
and out. Yeah.
Yeah, not
Uh, okay. Is it working? Is TCOM on? I mean, feels like we just came here and
uh,
died.
is this
It's
thing
just,
on?
it's like, hello, are
Yeah,
you
it
moving?
hasn't moved at all.
Wow.
It hasn't moved in 5 minutes, eh? One, two, three, four, five. Yeah,
It's
5 minutes. Same
but
spot.
it's the funny part that if you look at it, it goes time. It's just where it just stops and nothing happens. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening? Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh, look at the market dropping again.
Yeah, this is
Oh my
not gonna
goodness.
help. Yeah, this is not gonna help my trade here, man. I mean, my trade's down a lot already, and it's trying to like recover a little bit. But again, if the market continues to put down selling pressure, even if your stock wants to go up, eventually it kind of bends the knee, right? So, um, I'm inclined
Bend
to
the
even take
knee.
another partial soon. Yeah, Game of Thrones situation there, right? Oh man, yeah. I don't know, friends. I'm very close to just either taking another partial, not taking everything off, but maybe taking another partial because we are up almost a buck, right? So let's not. I don't want to like overstay my
Well,
welcome if this is all we're gonna get. It's getting tempting. Um, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Can we break 64.84? That was our original target, but we did take it just a little bit below just in case, which was a good decision. But hopefully we can break this one, get to 65, and break these interesting wicks that just appeared up here. One at 64.99 and the other one down at 64.86. All right, getting a move. Everybody fell asleep.
Yeah.
And there it is, moving again. All right, let's refresh our YouTube chat. $391. Game of inches. All right. Break might be coming. What else, friends? Anything else? Shushu is asking me to look at AVGO over on X. Oh, look at AVGO showing some weakness here. AGVO is a stock that you just gotta watch every day. Like if you like the way it trades, you just gotta watch it. Right? You just gotta watch it, and then once in a while it blesses you with this type of pre-market intraday action. It doesn't do this often. It's like a Microsoft too, right?
You.
Yeah, it's just like Microsoft, the same thing.
It blesses you with that action.
Yeah, for being loyal and sticking around watching when it does nothing, and out of nowhere it just gives you a beautiful trading day. So there it is. AVGO. All right, I thought we were gonna do it there. We didn't.
Oh man, look at the rejection. Hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. I haven't done this in a while. We're gonna take 50% off. I'm gonna take 50% off. So we're 50% out. This is a big chunk we took off. I wish we would have took it sooner, but I hesitated. And let's see. Let's see. So we're big chunk is out already. We don't have a lot left. I still want to be in it because it can pop up, but at least we don't bring back a whole lot. And I'll be honest, if it gets back to 64.60, I'm probably gonna take everything off. I don't think it's just worth watching. Let's take a look here. How are we doing? Wow, JP Morgan bank made a new low of the day here. Roller finally traded more than 3 minutes. So that's good. Yeah,
Well,
I know, right?
Still haven't heard from Andrew, so
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully all is good. NVDA. I don't find anything else, friends. Yeah, but 35 minutes for me is a long time, Chris. You know, if you think about it, 35 minutes is a very long time because I only trade until 11. So kind of a big chunk. And most times by 10:30 we're pretty much um wrapping things up as far as my trading. So,
Oh,
but yes, it's a lot of time left to it. That's a lot of time.
there you go. Paris, Paris. Sorry, Andrew showed up in the chat room, so that's good. He's alive. He's
Alive and well.
alive.
Alive and well. Good, good, good. Um,
TCOM. Wow, Paris. That I mean, sorry, Carlos. That yeah, that's did like barely touched your target there and then dropped
I
hard, did
know.
it?
I know. Um,
And
and
this
since I took partials here, I was kind of waiting for it to break this one and kind of get to like above 65, and it didn't. So again, I took a
uh,
big chunk out. So whether we go up, we're not gonna make a lot now, given a lot of the shares are out.
our
But we'll see.
our
See what
ridiculous
happens.
stock of the day, ROLR, halted again. This time
To the
on the way
upside.
up. Yeah, this
Why
time on
is
the way
it?
up. So
Why
we'll
does it
see.
look like that?
We'll see if it's another 5 minute halt. If it's another 5 minute, that'll be reopening at 10:10 and 52
Mm-hmm.
seconds. So 3 minutes from now.
All right.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get out of TCOM, guys. I this is not really doing anything, and I honestly think there's no edge right now. I think it can go either way, and I feel like it might come back to my break even. So I'd rather get out and just take the little bit of money that is left on these shares and call it a better green trade, right? So yeah, let's do that. I'm just out.
Okay.
I don't want to go back to it. So it turned out great, like great, and then just the volume just died, like nothing. Like we had 10,000 shares in this candle here, like very low, and then just now it's not doing anything. So no point in being around that. Besides ORB strategies, what do you guys like on what time frames? ORB and VI breakout. So for me, ORB, I'm looking at the 1 and 5. Actually for both, that's what I look at. I look at the 1 and the 5. I'm more honed in on the 1 minute, right? Because that's where you usually get you kind of fine tune your entry. But I do look at both, you know. Carlos, it will go to at least to 65.25. You could be right. It could go to TCOM. But I'm not gonna be probably not gonna be around for that. And Peter, what do you like on your time frames? What do you look at for your strategies?
Time frames? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always looking at a 1 minute chart, and
Okay.
I usually either get a trade right at the open, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting until like 10:30 or ish, looking for my reversal trades. So right now, NVDA, for example, might be a long reversal if it gets a bounce down here, but there's a lot of stuff like AMD, Tesla. They're all like mid range. They haven't really done a lot today, so. It's it's looking like it's going to be quiet for a little while longer. You mean like yesterday, like I was mentioning earlier in the pre-market show, my best trade opportunity happened at noon, right, with the PLTR reversal, but that only happened at around noon. So
Yeah.
you got
Yep.
to stay, So I usually get these downtimes where I can just sort of, I see nothing setting up. I know I've got 10 to 20 minutes before anything interesting happens.
Tesla Paso via breakout, guys. I see it. You guys are calling it out. Yeah, we got the breakout candle here, pullback, and this is the confirmation. Um,
Yeah.
I, I, I don't know actually. Setup looks good. This could be a nice long, but where's your stops? Got to be 90 cents, almost a dollar, which is not bad for Tesla. Just take less shares. Or if you want to make your stop tighter, you can. You don't have to do that. VWAP. You could do like the low of this wick here. You could do that as well, but you got to be quick for that. So if you plan on doing that, be very, very careful. I don't personally like it. To be honest. I know the pattern looks well. I don't know what about it I'm not loving. Um, that's why I didn't pull the trigger on it when it moved up. I'm not sure, man. To be honest, I'm not sure. But if it can go pretty nicely here. How's the SPY doing? Is it just following the SPY? No, it's not. It's kind of doing its own thing. So that's good. There it is. There's the break. I don't like those rejections. I feel like we need a better entry closer to VWAP. The rejection I don't like. Um, right here, 441 would have been your entry. Oh, it worked. I slacked, but it worked. Good call, guys. Good call.
Yeah.
It worked. You would have got at least a couple of partials here if you have 441. That did work. Let's see if now the continuation here. Can we get it? Can we get the continuation? Close above that 442.50. Yeah, SPY's helping. That's a plus. If the SPY's heading up after a couple of drop downs, it's gonna help, Chris, for sure. I'm done for the day unless I get greedy. I think you know the answer. I think you know the answer. Don't get greedy. All right, let's see. Peter, did you hit the like button on the stream today? Peter? Peter, what's the good man? Peter was a good man. T-Man. No, he's not trading MP. Come on. No way. No way, no way. Oh, wow. Guys, good call on Tesla, man. Great call. Andrew took that trade. He took it on the spot, too. He took it right. His entry's right here. Right here on the way up. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Wow. Did you guys take that? Perfect call. Perfect call. All right, let's see. And look, TCOM hasn't done anything, so you got some of you did as well. Good. Okay, a lot of you guys in it. Awesome. Very nice, very nice. 411. There we go. We got it. 411. All right. As promised, we will run our funded account now. That's all we're waiting for, just to get the 411. Right. Let's do it early today because we do have a guest later too at 10:30, so we can run it later. So we're gonna run it now, guys. So funded account in chat. We'll get you guys in, all set up. If you want to join, this is for Lambos and Garbage Truck to get your funded account. If you guys want to join, you can do so. Head over to right on YouTube. Just click on that join. I think it costs you about $5. Gets you in, and you are all set to join. Come in here, hit the funded account, hit the like button just because you want to show support, and you're in. So we will run it and see who is today's winner.
Roller, man. Roller. I can't believe it. Hashtag funded.
Yeah,
you haven't hit you haven't selected yet, right? You're still going?
No, still going.
Still going. Okay, all right. Yeah, okay. Go on, guys. This is it. See all the hashtag funded coming through.
All right.
Okay. You ready, Carlos? 5.
Yeah, let's do it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it. There you go.
There it
The
is.
winner is
Anchor J7V. Congratulations, my friends. You are the winner. Send me an email, carlos@babytrace.com, and we'll get you set up with your funded account. So congrats, my friend.
beautiful.
Good. Good for you. Good for you.
Beautiful. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up too, friends.
Yeah,
Really appreciate the
congrats.
support. It helps the channel out a ton. So if you could do that, highly, highly appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And Jessica won yesterday, so she'll get her email shortly as well. And then so will Anchor. TCOM continues to do nothing. Glad I'm out of that. JP Morgan back to the lows. Tesla. Why didn't I take you, Tesla? I was close. There was something I didn't like about it. I couldn't figure it out, so I just say, you know what? Don't take the trade. Yes, next time. We'll do another one tomorrow as well. So we'll do one every day, as you guys know. When the other guy comes in, that came in yesterday, when he comes in later, like around 10:40. Sorry, buddy. You gotta come stick around and watch the show.
That's right. We're just waiting, eh? You're waiting
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
that. Come on, show up. I dare you.
yeah.
Is it
You're
time
gonna
for the draw
start
yet?
seeing all these good morning coming in like around
Yeah, yeah.
10:45. Like, dude, where you been? We've been here since 8:30 getting
Yeah.
ready. You coming at 10:45 saying good morning. What do you mean good morning?
Yeah.
It's afternoon almost. Oh
All right,
boy.
Tesla got the move higher, Carlos. That move really would have worked
It worked.
on
Lovely,
Tesla.
lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. And it didn't
Yeah, I
even
didn't.
like it didn't even test your entry. Like if you got in anywhere in this area here, it never tested your entry. Like it just took off, held here. This is a beautiful continuation. And Andrew hasn't even taken a partial unless he took one now. Last time I checked, he didn't even take a partial. Like he's saying, okay, he did take some already. Let me show you what he's done here, friends. I mean, that's awesome. He went in here and he just held. Like it never tests his entry. Like there's no reason for him to take a partial at all, right? It just goes. Oh, he changed it. But then towards the top here, he took some partials. But yeah, just amazing. So AMD's gone too. Look, AMD. Oh man, I'm looking at it on Andrew's chart. AMD was. Let's go back to our chart here. Hold on a second. AMD was a great VWAP breakout. This I would have taken for sure because it's so close to the VWAP like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy with my day. We're green. We're good. But crap, that sucks. Missing that AMD trade. Wow. Green. Baba's moving. Roller's back alive here. It's moving less and less, looks like. Still getting halted though. Wow. NVDA, Tesla, TCOM, and JP Morgan.
Wow. Well, there were some moves. I'm not on the I'm not on any of them. So, what can you do?
Yeah. Yep.
Again, NVIDIA was what I was watching. It would have been a short-term trade. Now, sorry, AMD was what I was watching actually. NVIDIA ended up being the better trade, which of course Paris got. Paris is like the real trader, man. He's the real deal.
No, Paris is legit, man. He takes size. Like he takes
Somebody in the
size.
chat room.
You know,
Yeah. Both Brian and Andrew are studying for a test or something. I don't know. They're not.
what
What's happening?
test?
happening? I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
see that.
both looking
They're
down at
both
something.
looking down.
They're
Yeah,
not looking at the screen. I just
they're really something else is going on more important
I'm gonna go at
than the
I'm gonna go
market.
ask
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Uh,
All
anyways,
right.
well, I like the fact that AMD is moving higher. I mean, it needs to keep going because now it's a previous day close, so it's gone green.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I mean, what did I say? Anyways, AMD is what I meant. Whatever I said, I'm not sure now if I said AMD or NVIDIA. Uh,
You said AMD.
roll the. Okay, all right. AVGO, you pointed out, Carlos. I think someone in the
Yeah,
YouTube mentioned it.
on
Yeah,
X,
it had a good
Shushu.
move down today. Okay,
Shushu on
had a
X
good move
mentioned it.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, U.S. citizen? No, no. Brian and Andrew like their Canadian citizenship. I don't think they're looking to apply to the U.S. citizenship.
I don't think so.
Speaking of government, man, I was reading the news on this Iran thing. This is getting out of control, man. I hope that's resolved quickly. I read a headline on Bloomberg, like the laws actually execution is like a thing, right? And hangings, they still have hangings, like legal hangings.
Yep. Yep.
What? I mean, like I knew this, but you haven't heard about it in the headline. Like it's not in front of you. Like
Right.
the stuff is here. It's like this is wild, man. Like really?
Yep.
Yes, that's brutal, man. Brutal, brutal. No, we don't know what the numbers are, but they said they arrested like 18,000 people that are going to be prosecuted for protesting.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's what they think.
How do you
2,500
have
are
space for?
dead.
Yeah, how do you have space for
18,000.
18,000 people? Like we can, if we arrest 18,000 people, like we wouldn't know where to put them. We're just
Well,
two men.
that's
It's-
that's where you get the fenced off compounds like ICE has had to create, right? To put
Oh
people
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
where do you put them, right? Where
Crazy.
yeah. Anyways, it's there are crazy things happening all around the world, that's for sure. AMD still going here. I mean, slowly, but it's moving. Look at this. I mean, it's in the last I don't know, in the last 30 minutes, well, 20 minutes, last 20 minutes, it's been all green candles except for one tiny little red candle that barely counts. So ever since that VWAP break, it's just been going consistently, slow and steady.
So it's legal in Saudi Arabia too. I didn't know that. See, but my thing is like if it's legal, um, and the people that live there are okay with it, it's your country, fine. Looks like the people are not okay with it.
I'm not sure
So
that I'm not sure the
that
people are ever okay with it.
like it's different. They're standing up and saying enough is enough. So now it becomes an issue, right? But if you don't stand up and say enough is enough, then I mean every country has to do that. If you want to change something, you got to say, hey, enough is enough. But
Yeah,
that's it's wild, man.
that is true. That's a true statement right there.
And our country went through that, so every country goes through their revolution and stuff like that. But man, like now to hear numbers of people being killed is just you know, it stands up the hair behind your neck.
AMD, man. What the heck? Look at it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
went
and
back. I
Nvidia's
thought it would Sorry, I
go
thought
ahead.
AMD would pause here at the area it was in because it was consolidating in this area around 222 pre-market, but it's blown right through that and it's gone to, I mean, obviously a new high of day and a high of higher than yesterday's high. So look at this. I mean, it's just suddenly it's accelerating to the top side. This-
Yeah. Oh, protests are not lawful. They turn into riots. Yeah, riots are not good. Even here, they're not good. But you gotta think about life, man. Life is the most precious thing we have. You can't be taking people's lives. You know, that's like do something else. Find something else. Taking somebody's life, like just think about that. You know, do something else. That's um like NVIDIA, guys. NVIDIA at VWAP. It rejected the first time, so no good. Let's see if it can do it again here. We're gonna be wrapping up at 10:30 on the dot today because we do have a special guest coming on. So I actually got to start preparing for that. So let me do that now, Peter. So I might be a little quiet as I do that.
That's all right.
Okay.
Fill the gap. I am watching AMD. It did volume high here and then a little bit of an uncertainty candle. It's not enough of a pattern for me to trade, but it's a potential pullback. We've just got to see what it's going to do. It's what a surprisingly strong move on AMD, especially when the market. I mean, the market did move higher, but not that aggressively. And it's so interesting. Broadcom, on the other hand, is still at the still down here at the low. Didn't get any volume at the low. I was hoping that it would get a sort of a big volume spike to signal it's low, but I don't feel that it really did. And just for the heck of it, I'm still watching the ROLR, which is surprising. It managed to stay open for 10 minutes now without a halt. So maybe there's hope, or maybe that just means all the fun's over. The volume's also dropped a little bit here, so it's it's really a popcorn stock. It lived up to its billing, right? Because it's just craziness. Like right now, if you were to do the 100 shares Carlos is talking about, total flip of a coin as to whether it's going to pop up or drop, right? So if you paid it to say, okay, I'm either going to make a buck or lose a buck, right? Make $100 or lose $100. Who knows? It could go either way, and that could happen, in a matter of seconds when it actually starts to move. So we'll see what happens with roller. I am not going to trade. I want to be clear though. I'm just talking about it because it's fun. There's no. VWAP, Jimmy, my VWAP does include, I do include pre-market in my VWAP calculation. That would change it. Usually it's not much though, because the pre-market, the volume is typically so low compared to the volume that happens at the open. It might only affect it in the first minute or two, and then it should equal out. But it's not. I don't find it meaningful, frankly. It could also be your platform. I don't know if you're using the same platform, but sometimes platforms calculate it slightly differently. You can also notice a difference just within, like, DAS has got, all of their tools have been built at different times. Like if I put the VWAP at in AMD, so right now I'm looking at the VWAP in AMD, and if I put it on the level 2, it says the VWAP is 218.83. If I look at it on my 1-minute chart, the VWAP is clearly at 218.92. So there's like an 8-cent difference right there. So, sometimes tools will do it differently within their own system. So, always keep in mind, every level, every line is just it's a range. It's an area.
Yep. Absolutely, friends. All right, let's I actually have Gary. Hey Gary, how are you? Oh, wait, I can hear you. Let's test your audio now.
I can hear him.
Yeah, that's through
Can you
Zoom.
guys hear me?
Okay, now we hear you through the vmix. All right, perfect, man. So Gary, I'm gonna let you take over. I know you got a special guest for us that you're gonna introduce now. Friends over on YouTube, stick around for that. Hit that thumbs up, and have a great trading rest of your day, guys. We'll leave you with Gary.
There you go. Trade smart, everyone.
Hey guys, I'm usually in the Bearable channel, but today I'm here on YouTube introducing a dear friend, Robert Zine. Robert has been a senior analyst on Wall Street for about 20 years. He's here today to speak with us on how institutional investors think, and I've been looking forward to pick his brain on where the smart move is moving right now. Robert, thanks for jumping on Bearable channel. Sure. Yes, yes, loud and clear. So I am actually a little off camera on YouTube. That's weird. Okay. So uh, let's jump straight into it. So you look at a lot of fundamentals while we are more price action based traders. So let me start with the why versus the when, right? Why is stock interesting and when do you buy it? So as a fundamental investor, you focus on the why behind the stock's value. Now, how can active traders use fundamental catalysts like earnings or policy changes to improve their timings on entries and exits?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities, between long-term investors and day traders. I think there are metrics out there that could benefit both, type of investors. The thing I would, as a day trader, how I use the earnings catalyst is that I know you guys trade on earnings. When earnings earnings beat is more likely you guys going to buy into the stock, or earning miss going to sell into stocks. But if you combine that with some other fundamental analysis, you could actually time it a little better into your entrance and exits. Just kind of give you example, like in the cyclical industry, right? Let's say you've been following a company in the cyclical industry. It's been missing earnings for quite a few quarters, and stock's been falling, and all of a sudden you have surprise earnings beat, right? So when that happens and the stock's been correcting for 4 quarters, even on the day when earnings beat, stock goes up 10%. You have confidence that this is just the beginning of the cyclical turn. That even at a 10% stock jump on that day, you're more confident to buy into that. There's going to be multiple weeks or months left of upside left, versus in a scenario where you're looking at stocks beating quarterly earnings for 3-4 quarters, and this is the 5th quarter they're beating earnings, and it's kind of from a cyclical standpoint, it's in a sector that's kind of at the peak of its cyclicality. Then you might not be able to have the confidence to buy into it.
So that's a great point. So I'm gonna stop you here, and I'm gonna dial it back a few years. NVDA around $50-$60,
Yeah.
and it had its first massive beat, versus now. I mean, folks, chips is a cyclical industry, although we are in a structural cycle, but chip manufacturing is generally a cyclical industry. So would that be a prime example?
Yes. Now we are entering. Yes, you're right. Chips, especially semiconductors, has been a cyclical, and it's been a very tight 2-year cycles for the past, I would say, 20 years, right?
Yes.
So 2 years up cycle, 2-year down cycle, and the price always it's gotten to so efficient that the price actually moved a year ahead of the cycle.
Right.
So at the very peak of the cycle, is the peak of the stock price. No, actually, in the middle of an upcycle is actually the peak of the stock price. So now the argument people are making out there is that is this a unprecedented AI super cycle that could last 4, 5, 6 years? So that's the factor you have to determine in analyzing NVIDIA stocks right now. But in this case, it's AI has been beating earnings for about 4 years, right? And
Right.
it's not, and the earnings growth hasn't really stopped, but it's still accelerating. well into 2026, and the consensus out there is that the order books, the visibility is, 26 pretty much the order books fill, and
So
half of 27.
some of our folks would not understand what consensus means. If you can take a quick second to
Yeah, consensus is all the sell side research, sell side analysts numbers for the next 12 months.
and sell side analysts being the investment banks.
Yeah, like the Goldman Sachs, the JP Morgans, all the analyst research report you read, and all the research that people refer to on like CNBC, Bloomberg. When they say consensus, they're referring to the 2030 analysts that's covering, sell-side analysts that's covering the NVDA stock.
Right. So now I'm gonna take take this idea and then put it towards intrinsic value and price action. Intrinsic value generally is what people think the company is worth fundamentally, and price action is the price you're willing to pay for the stock. So they're kind of similar but different. So, Robert, how do you handle a situation where a company's fundamentals are improving, but the stock price continues to break down on the chart? So when does the narrative override the numbers?
It's an interesting question. That it brings me back to a quote by Warren Buffett. He says, prices could be trading at silly stocks could be trading at silly prices from time to time, and it could be trading at silly prices for a very long time. So it's analysts' view on how you digest the numbers versus price action, and it brings me back to this kind of a one hard lesson learned over my career, where we're a value company at my firm. We look for cheap stocks. So we see the tech sector has been booming, and we want to get exposure to the tech sector, but we can't buy the expensive tech sector. So we ended up buying a very cheap tech name that does OLED TV, OLED TV, right? Super cheap, but the price just keeps on going down. And the fundamental kind of stabilized, but the stock has continued to go down. So the lesson learned here is that yes, the stock is cheap. The intrinsic value is trading at below intrinsic value. But the problem is when you have a cheap stock in a very booming sector, like the tech sector, no one cares about valuations. No one cares about intrinsic value. They want the hype. Why would I invest in an OLED maker when I can invest in AI plays, right? So that's the narrative. When the narrative overtakes the intrinsic numbers. Now, if you want to talk about a dying sector, you pretty much want to buy a cheap name in a dying sector versus buying cheap names.
Newspaper media, for example.
Newspaper media, oil and gas, non-electric vehicles like ICE cars. Those sectors that you want to buy a kind of a cheaper name versus a booming sector. The reason why is a passive fund or mutual fund, index fund, institutional funds, they have to spread their money across all sectors, right? They're not just going to concentrate on one sector. So when they allocate money to a tech sector, they say, okay, I don't like the cheap name in the tech sector because there's no growth. I'm just going to invest in the high-tech AI sectors, names. But I have to allocate a certain portion of my money into a dying sector like the telecommunications or auto sector. So in that case, I hate the sector entirely. I don't like any of the names. So I'm going to buy the cheapest name. So these names, those cheaper names in the sector, dying sector, will get more bids by just pure sector allocation versus a booming sector where the allocation is all going to go to the AI place.
Right. And that's why, folks, it's hard to kill a dying company.
Yes.
All right. So on the 2026 macro environment, like with the current economic shifts we are seeing in the early 2026, the political things we are seeing in so far, what fundamental metrics, debt to equity, free cash flows, valuations, should traders prioritize to avoid bull traps?
Yeah, 2026, beginning of 2026 has been very interesting times. You have a lot of volatility, geopolitical volatility. Trump's going after pretty much everyone, every sector, every industry. And obviously, I think most people have the most questions on the booming AI sector. Are we gonna at the peak of the cycle or whatnot? So the one metric that I look at is the earning growth forecast. What I believe is that in a sector like the AI, that it's been beating earnings for quite a few years, and the forecast for next year and the year after have continued to be very aggressive by the sell side analysts. So in that scenario, where the expectation, if the expectation from the sell side for next year is extremely high, that means the stock currently is factored in these kind of expectations. So the risk is more to the downside per se. Let's say a company like, even in a company like NVDA, right? They're still forecast to grow like 30, 40, 50% for next year after multiple years of 100% growth. I mean, the base has gotten a lot bigger, but the expectation is still very bullish. So that's the number that I kind of want to, kind of put more focus on, that the expectation, it's more realistic that the company will hit these expectations. So I looked at earning forecast growth that isn't too aggressive. And the other number that I look at is the earnings quality. So not all earnings are created equally, right? So let's say, a company that beat earnings last quarter by 50%. But you got to dig a little deeper. That's, hey, are those earning beats coming from a structural, core business growth? Or is that something that's involving like a one-off? A lot of these companies in this kind of environment have, a lot of cash on their balance sheet, right? So they might put those cash in the stock market or buy back their own stocks. So at the end of the day, at the end of the quarter, they say, my core business grew 10%, but my investments on my balance sheet grew 50%. So my entire company earnings grew, 40%. That beat earnings, right? So that is not what I consider a quality earnings beat. Right. And a lot of these companies also are disposing assets because the valuation for these assets is so high. It's like, okay, let me just take this opportunity and dispose of my assets. That's one time, earnings beat on your income statement. So you have to do more kind of a due diligence on why is the earning beat for this particular company. Is it quality core business bird?
I get it. So this brings me to my next question. Yeah. You've been a value investor for a long time. Yes. And can you when the stock is undervalued, what is that specific spark or catalyst you look for that finally forces the price to, so to say, meet its intrinsic value? In other words, so we as traders would look at price action and look for breakouts just purely based on price. Like if the price is, let's say, between $15 and $20 constantly, and one day it suddenly breaks out over 20, that's what we are looking for to see, something has happened. But you, on the other hand, are not looking at that, right? Yeah. You, on the other hand, are looking for a catalyst which might actually make the price move forward towards a direction. So what would you be looking at in general?
For value stock, yes. Okay, let's PE, right? PE is the most common, metric that use people to identify cheap stocks versus expensive stocks. So for a PE, you gotta break the PE down to two factors: the price and earnings. Okay, if the price continue to go down, and is because most likely is that the earnings in the denominator is falling, but the P, the price, the numerator is falling even faster. So that creates the earnings, the PE value to be getting cheaper and cheaper over time, right? So what I look at is that the two different kind of cheap PEs. What I would like to see a cheap PE is that the E has stabilized, but the P continues to fall. That creates a very, very cheaper PE. In that kind of scenario, I say, I really like this because earning has stabilized and on a way to recover, but investors not giving it credit for earning stabilization, earning growth, because the price continued to fall. In that scenario, there's a higher chance of price to reflect, to start to rally, versus another cheap PE where earnings continue to fall super fast with the price, then that indicates the stock hasn't bottomed yet. The intrinsic value is still falling, and the chance of stock price rally is less possible versus the first scenario.
All right. So then one question I have is, when you identify an undervalued equity, do you look at any technical indicators to time an entry, or just the fundamental valuation the only factor?
No. I use fundamentals. No, sorry. So use the technical indicators. One is, the common ones, RSI, but the one indicator I would use is, and I keep on bringing back Warren Buffett. There's a famous indicator in Warren Buffett's, investment strategy is called the Buffett indicator. That indicates whether the entire stock market for a certain country is overvalued or undervalued. It's basically the total market cap of the entire stock market, let's say in the U.S., divided by the total GDP of the U.S. produced on an annual basis. And that indicator for the U.S. stock right now is an all-time high. It's 200%. So to give a perspective, that during the dot-com boom of 2001, that indicator was 125%. So there's definitely some technical indicator I use that kind of help me gauge whether the entire stock market is undervalued or valued, and that's one indicator I use. And the other one I use in the specific on a specific company is what I call a PEG ratio.
Mm-hmm.
PEG ratio is basically the multiple over the earnings growth. So theoretically, a company should not be trading multiple higher than its earnings growth. Let's say a company's earnings growth is 30%. The stock technically should not trade more than 30 times PE.
Okay.
So that's the general rule of thumb.
Of the company.
Correct. So if let's say, example, Palantir, right? Palantir is the darling in the stock market. The stock's doing really well. It's super resilient currently. Stock's grown 60, 70%, but the PE is 200 times. So for that company to hit its intrinsic value, it needs to come down trading at 60 times PE versus its earnings growth. So, so that's some kind of, that's kind of an indicator I use to, gauge the cheapness of an individual stock.
So one of the questions we have from our members is, what has been the biggest loss you have had in your fund in one single trade?
The OLED play that I just mentioned, that stuck with me. I thought it's not because I love OLED, but because we need tech.
Would you be able to assign a dollar value to it?
A dollar value? Good thing that we are not, concentrated hedge funds. I just kind of give it perspective. We manage about $600 million. Mm-hmm. Our, one particular holding is around $1 to $2 million, and not counting all the ads or the down cost average I've been done.
So average is about,
so probably around
so
3-4 million. Yeah, 3-4 million.
Okay, $3-4 million.
Yeah, so $6 million position.
Would you lose sleep over losing $3 million?
On a diversified portfolio like this, not much, because like Gaurav said and you mentioned earlier, I've been in the industry for 20 years. In my first job, I was doing emerging market small cap. Now that fund, a biggest loss I ever had is probably 80-90%. So I've gone through that already earlier in my career. So a 50% correction now is
I've been there too. I've been there too.
Right. It's like everyday occurrence. Not everyday occurrence, but like every other quarter you're gonna have a name like this.
Yeah. So another question our members have is on Meta. I know you don't look at US stocks, but Meta is something I'm sure I know. Do you believe Meta is a value play right now?
It's funny that
and the other part is value has really underperformed the last few years.
Yes.
So on that, and on a PEG ratio, Meta is definitely below 1.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on that?
It's good. It's funny you mentioned that. For my Meta is one of the names I added recently in my personal portfolio. It's a name that I really, really like, along with Oracle. So going back to Meta, yes, I think the correction recently happened to Meta is because people question about its capex spending, and also capex spending, and also its history of investing in areas that has failed, in particular in the metasphere, the meta world. So with that being said, I still believe that with the recent correction in Meta, that it's the only platform where AI could actually be applied to in terms of reaching the end consumer. At the end of the day, for AI to work, right, the consumer needs to pay up for these AI services, for all these open AIs, NVDA to make money at the end. Right now, they're spending billions with very little consumer returns in the space. And so I believe, along with Apple, which has a physical product of the iPhone, and Meta, which is as a platform of the metaverse, social media, that at the end of the day, there's a very few places the consumer will actually spend money on AI services, and Meta is one of the platforms. So it's a very simple thesis that I have with the recent corrections, and with the recent strength of the entire AI, the other FANGs, 7 names, that I think is definitely undervalued. That's why I initiated a huge position in my personal portfolio in Meta.
So then, and now I'm going to bring you back a little back to trading.
Yeah.
So fundamental investors often, so to say, average down on a position they believe in. So you buy a stock at $20, it goes to 15, you add more, right? So how do you distinguish between adding to a winner at a better price and fighting the market?
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, it goes back to what I said about my lesson learned on the tech space versus that OLED play, right? So you're not gonna get it right every single time. There's no one magical metric that's gonna apply to the same situation every time. What I do is that when I add to a company, if the company continues to go down, is I have to really believe its thesis of recovery, right? I'm not going to be right every single time, but for what I got wrong with the OLED is that what I learned is that no investor is going to pay up for a cheap name in a booming industry. Mm-hmm. But what I've gotten right is in a sector where it's the automobiles, specifically for the automobile, right? So in the automobile sector, where it's a cyclical industry, and it's an industry where not a lot of people like right now. And because if you're not EV producer, you're gonna even EV is losing kind of a steam going forward, right? So another name that I continue to add in my personal space, I mean, everyone should heard of it, is Rivian. Rivian Automotives. So so it's all about the analyst's belief system. I think in
it's
Rivian,
basically about the analyst's belief system.
Yeah, analyst belief system.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question then. And when a firm, an institutional firm, decides to build a position in a stock, right? It can at times take weeks, depending on liquidity. Yeah. So what does that accumulation phase look like on a chart from your perspective? Are you constantly trying to accumulate within a certain price band? And how can us as retail traders be able to kind of understand, okay, this is accumulation, maybe somebody's buying, it's a good time for us to get in, and we can kind of ride on your...
Sure. I mean, the only way you can ride on the coattails is because institutional money goes in, then they disclose, right? They always disclose afterwards,
Right.
after they accumulate the full position. So there's, unless you have insider information, then there's this. But from another technical standpoint, what we used to do is that it takes over a span of, let's say, a month to accumulate, especially with us fund size, let's mid cap, small caps, right? Especially
Right.
small cap, mid cap names. What we do, we have a mandate is that we don't buy more than 20 to 25% of the daily volume.
Mm-hmm.
So when we come into a mid cap name, we're definitely going to move
20% of the daily volume?
25% daily volume. Yeah. No more.
No
I mean,
more.
no. I'm not talking about stock like a Meta.
Hey guys,
or,
listening to this, they're like, we do 20% of the daily volume.
Yeah.
I don't want to
But
report
that applies to more of a, our fund size, more of small mid cap, right? So
this
we
is
do
on
have a
small fund size. Okay.
yeah, we do have a mandate of 25%, no more than that volume. So from a analyst standpoint, from a day trader standpoint, right? I think the way you can benefit is that unless you're trading on these mega names, if you go down to the small cap names, you can see it's critical to identify the first initial kind of a volume jump in the mid cap names. That in that case, it's definitely institution coming in. In that case, definitely there's going to be more volumes coming in later. And it might not be the next day, because we do, tend to wait a day, because we don't want, retail guys to front run us after the first day. Even though we have more volume, we'll probably be a little more patient, wait a couple of days when the retail, interest subsides, then we go to the second tranche. So as a day trader, I would look at for the initial spike, then be patient and wait a few days, and there should be another volume coming, I think.
Okay. And so we just have a few minutes, Robert, but I do want to speak about crypto with you.
Yes.
And because I know you've been a long-term crypto investor. I think it's been over 10 years that you've been investing in crypto. Just quickly, your thoughts on Bitcoin and any other coin, just the cyclicality of it, and what do you think where price goes from now? Just a few thoughts. And I know all of these are his personal thoughts. These are not institutional recommendations to buy or sell. These are just for educational purposes.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a big believer in crypto space. I think there's a lot of, that the financial industry is gonna migrate into the crypto space, tokenizing everything, tokenizing securities, tokenizing, financial assets. That's a definitely trend. And in terms of price actions, what everybody's interested in, I'm a sole believer of the 4-year cycle. I know there's a lot of narrative out there that the 4-year cycle is kind of broken this year. This cycle, because the price hasn't appreciated, especially on the altcoins, hasn't appreciated as much as the previous, cycle peaks. And there's a reason for that. There's a logical reason for that, because this time around, the AI space in the real stock market has overtaken the entire investment space. So before, in the previous cycles, you want to get 10x or 20x on your money. Stock market is not going to give you that. You have to go into the French crypto space. But now this time around, the AI space has generated not just equal to what crypto has generated, but probably even more. That the NVDA is up 20x in the past couple of years. So as an investor, whether it's retail, institutional, why, if you're looking for the 20x, or the other retail investors, why go to the fringe crypto sector when you can get it in the stock market? So that is the reason. I'm pretty sure 90% of the reason why this cycle hasn't been as aggressive as the previous cycles. But now my belief is that the 4-year cycle continues, and this cycle is probably, I know crypto had a little bit of a jump today, but I believe the cycle is pretty much over. My suggestion to crypto investors is that just be patient for another couple of months. Wait for a more 30-40% correction. Maybe not 30-40%. Alts 30-40%. The top guys, Bitcoins, Ethereum, probably another 10-20%. You can safely wait for that. Maybe till the June timeframe. Then you can safely invest for the next 4 years, next upcycle. And I think the 4-year cycle continues.
Robert,
this trend.
Unfortunately, we are running out of time. So one last question.
Sure.
If you only had 60 seconds to look at a financials of a company, before you need to make a decision, which 3 numbers would you look for?
I would do debt to equity. Debt to equity is definitely one. Interest coverage ratio. I know a lot of the things out there that people borrowing money, do capbacks, and they don't have the money to pay back. Especially in this kind of environment, I want to make sure they have enough money on their balance sheet to cover the interest payments and other free cash flow. I mean, cash is cash is real. So those three metrics I would say I would take a hard look at.
Well, thank you so much, Robert, for coming online and sharing your thoughts with us. This was really, really educational. I hope people found this useful. And thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Gav. Thanks for having me on your show. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, Thor, brother, I can't hear you. No sound from your end.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? Microphone on.
Now I got you. There you go.
There we go. So, hello everybody. Hello YouTube. How's everybody doing today? So good to see you. Really interesting session there. Of course, we're going to be bringing on my partner in crime here on Wednesdays, Dr. Vanessa Charland, who is rocking the hair game today. She came like ready to teach today. I mean, wow. So good stuff there. I'm kind of having an amazing day. So we had a really great morning session this morning, and there she is. Now she's showing for everybody. Hello there. I don't hear you yet, but are you muted?
I was.
You
Hello,
are. So
everyone.
so we both came in muted today. So awesome. Way to go us. So I'm having a pretty crazy day, Dr. V. So we did our morning session today, and I think you and I were both in agreement that today was a day that it looked pretty juicy, and that the NQ was potentially ready for what could be a nice sell today. Q's actually alerted, but I was watching NQ because I trade futures, and I wanted to maybe talk for I look at Dr. Chatty. Calm down, Dr. Chatty. Let's not get too excited in here. Although we agree.
We have to get excited. I love the excitement.
So it's a good time though. But Q's alerted, and we were pretty excited about what the potential was for today. And yesterday I took a loss yesterday, and just kind of let that settle. But today, because we had such a strong plan today, I decided today was the day. So I went ahead and hit NQ with 3 contracts. I upped my risk to $1,000 on it, and I went for ATR low, and all of them worked.
Yeah.
So today I get to present to to everybody. I'll share my screen for just a moment, and then we'll talk for everybody. But I would like to show everybody today my biggest actual single trade to date. So dun, 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 right? So and give a little bit of credit where credit is due, if I may, to my compadre here. This is something Dr. V and I have actually been talking about, which is this concept of when I'm in a certain place in my month, I've made a certain amount of money, and I see a really ideal setup to go ahead and just give myself permission to just go for it a little bit heavier. So it ended up filling me at a little over 11 R's my risk. And I risked $1,000 on it. So it ended up working pretty nicely, and I'm really, really happy. So thank you, Dr. V. Very much appreciate it. And this is going to match your dress. Bing.
Yeah, I love it. And thank you for your cams, because I also had the same trade as you. I love the pullback. Okay, if I can
Right? Look at the beautiful pullback.
So I'm sharing my screen now.
Yeah, let's switch to Dr. V's screen. I'll take mine off.
Carlos, thank you so much.
You the man.
But I
You could
exited
put
at
you full
S6.
screen. Her screen, Carlos, not her. I mean, whatever.
Are you complaining, man?
I'm not actually at all. I just don't want the entire chat to lose focus.
No, no.
You know what I mean?
The
Like,
problem is we have some guests. I have my buttons are all over the place, so I gotta fix that.
I feel almost the same way. So
Can we do a
Give me
raffles
one
for
sec.
a date with Dr. V? Oh my gosh, people. You're
um,
on fire. 2026 is in the house.
2026, let's go, right? So
Yeah,
that's
love
funny.
it.
Yeah, we can do it's a dollar raffle, $10,000 a ticket. And I get half the proceeds. No? Is this not okay? No? Yeah. This
Yeah,
feels like an
well,
indecent proposal. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go with a hard no on that. Mr. Chatty's already in. Jesus.
hey, what about a date with Thor?
This is
Right?
not so this raffle would be a lot cheaper. So we're gonna raffle these off for 25 cents each, and we're gonna have 2 entries, and still only Mr. Chatty, likely. Um,
All right, let's go back to trading, shall we?
please.
So I
We
took
have
the
a
same
screen.
trade. Look at the beautiful, reoffer. Thank you, NQ. So NQ lost the level, and then we were FOMOing, looking at it pre-market. And then just for us at the open, it said, you know what? I'll go back there just for you, and I'll make a beautiful double top at the level just for you. And then I shorted the crap out of it, of course. And then
Sure, the crap. Wow. I mean, you hit it right in the perfect, like right there.
and I had two contracts. Okay.
Yeah.
So I exited at S6 and then I had a runner that I wanted to go to ATR low, but this candle took me out.
Baller.
And yeah, $3,900 that trade in like 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
I'm in. I mean,
Hello.
so easy. Okay, some days, guys, it's just beautiful like that. Yesterday was less easy. Also, Monday I had two losers, one winner. Yesterday, one loser, one winner. And today, one and done. Like, we love these days.
We
So,
love these days.
I mean, I wanted ATR low, but still, I'm happy, right? Great day.
In
So,
our morning session in Alchemists, I think one of the things we that I thought was really interesting today, you and I were both 100% in alignment with what we thought today was going to do. You know,
yeah.
especially with the market news from yesterday, with the SCOTUS stuff going on today, with the tariff junk. Like today was like a day for this to happen. So as we were kind of talking about things, that was one of the things I think I liked about this going into it is like I knew after you had looked at it that it had some higher time frame alignment for this play, and it was a really solid play within my cam system. And
Exactly.
cams plus trends, you know, it
It's the
works.
perfect match.
Yeah,
And
it's the
again,
perfect
so
recipe. It goes together just right.
this morning, the sentiment was very clear on indices. Okay, so this is the kind of feeling you want to have. It has to make sense to you what's going on. So we were looking at a higher time frame. All indices had lost their 4-hour uptrend. We were good, right? The sentiment was not bullish. I mean, again, you could trade bullish trade today, but it's always preferable to align with the big money, and the big money looked like they were more selling than buying. And then the next thing you want to do is look for a setup to go short. And one of I think it's my favorite cam play actually. My favorite cam play is the S4 breakdown.
It has been working very well. It
Yeah.
really has been.
So I saw the cam play and this beautiful because I thought I lost it. I was getting ready for ES, you know. I thought
Hmm.
the trade was already happening, and then I got the alert. I was like, oh, so nice and cute.
Right? I mean, this is one of those moments where it's like it's really hard not to like FOMO and kind of rush into a bad position, you know, because you get these two very big sell candles right at the open, you know, the regular market open. And then you go, oh my God, I need to get in. I need to hurry up and get short. And then you get squeezed right into the perfect
Mhm.
spot where you should have been, right? But you're out and now you can't get back in. So it just I mean, super pro trade, I mean, just waiting, getting ready, using your alert, right? So you don't kind of get just if it comes where you want it, you'll play. And it did, and you did, and
No,
famous.
I'm so happy. I mean, and I'm so happy. I mean, it's not me. Oh, I'm so great. No, the price action was perfect at the
It was
level.
perfect.
Like ES was less clean, so ES like went above November high and then it came back later.
Yeah,
So
ES was almost a better short, like around 10-15. It came back to S4 from the
oh
underneath on the
yeah.
lower range.
Oh, the 10-15
Yeah.
entry is very juicy.
You could have hit that, and then you could have marked that with a trend or something off of that and then been good to go. So, I mean, I think that could have worked out really nicely. So there wasn't, for anyone who didn't get the fill like we did fast, I mean, that was a really lovely re-entry opportunity for
Oh
ES.
yes. I mean, these days are printing money.
For
Like
real.
it's beautiful. Okay, so the sentiment thing is really, really important because then you have one side out of the game, out of the equation, right? So you don't get in trouble with the bulls today because we're aligning with the bears. And maybe tomorrow the bulls will be the one that we align with, then the bears will be out of the equation. So it's all about simplifying, making sense. You need to feel comfortable when you risk your money, okay? It has to make sense to you. You need to feel good about the trade.
Mhm.
Also to relax your brain because you trust it. You trust the process. Here on NQ, my stop is very well defined, okay? If we take this double top, if we go higher, I'm not interested. Now I will look maybe to short the downtrend that is right here.
Mhm.
But I want to get out of this.
And that's true for the cam plays too, right? Because you would be regaining S4 and above S4 gets you back into where you should expect to buy some. So again, we're a lot of alignment right there. Like it was a very clear line in the sand. If it got any higher, you shouldn't be messing around with it. And it was perfect. I really like your entry right as it goes in there. My entry was on the next candle as it came back down. So you got an even tighter entry than I did,
Yeah,
probably
but
on the way out.
you
That's
got a better,
beautiful.
your exit was better than mine, so.
Yeah, but who, for the record, who was it that spec'd out that I should go to narrow ranges on narrow ranges? I should go for ATRs. Who was it that spec'd that out for me? Can we
I
admit this?
know, but
It
also
was
the play is S4 to S6, so that's what I had in mind, right?
yeah, but it's expansion day. It's narrow range.
Mhm.
Some person with very lovely blonde hair, told me on these days I should go for ATRs. So and I listen to my coach. So a little actually a little credit where credit's due. I have to tell everybody that before working with Dr. V, and this trade would not have happened, right? There's so many different things that are in here that have worked. So if any of you are like really looking for mentoring and coaching, Dr. V is really busy. Maybe you can get a little bit of her time and it would be super worth it. She has helped me on both my performance psychology in a way I didn't, I mean, I'm in a completely different spot than I expected to be, right? And she's also helped me on my technical trading, and I've been trading longer than she has been, right? So it should be the other way around, but apparently that's not what's going on here. But these
No,
things,
but being too close to the tree, you need
I need some perspective.
some distance. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and some competent perspective that I trust, right? And I do. So this is why I do these things. As we've looked at trades, this is what we put in. And, luckily what leans into my strength is I have the ability to consistently execute things I decide to do. So with taking that in, and for all of you, that's what you go to. That's the process that she's trying to help you kind of gain, is that if you can find these elements and then consistently execute them, you can do it. Like, let it win, give it the opportunity. It's got potential as long as you don't get in its way. And again, kind of, just some of that for Dr. V. Like, if you're not coming by here every Wednesday, if you're not liking, if you're not following her media, and if you're not on her calendar right now booking your spots, I don't know what you're waiting for. There's going to be a time in the future, I assure you, where she's just going to be too busy for you. So you better you better get to her now. You know what I'm saying? Except for Chatty. Chatty, you're not allowed to go to her calendar. You're too excited with the, no, I'm just kidding. You can go.
Yeah, and Insane Trader, it's well, very hard to teach you something personally in a YouTube show, right? So it's a one-on-one personal mentoring.
And she is teaching it here a lot, Insane Trader, for real. You know, that's why I come here Wednesday. I mean, it's super valuable time. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, that's what she is teaching a lot of that right here. But it's a lot different when you can have that conversation where she can actually look at your trades. She can actually look at your behaviors, because sometimes you're on YouTube and you're saying things like, I think this happens. But like she just said, you're too close, right? You can't see the forest because there's a tree right in front of your face, right? So you get the perspective of that, and her analytical ability with having a background, you know, her having her doctorate in the field she has it in, gives her, I think, a lot of experience in analyzing those kind of things. That was my experience. So for the record, when I get my coaching, this is who I'm doing my coaching with, right? And I mean, good enough for me, you know, I'm just saying. So,
Well, yeah, and today I want to talk about something very important to start the new year. So Happy New Year, everyone. I want to talk about self-regulation. I don't know if some of you saw my post, but I said in my post that now you already know too much to quit. So it's too late. You want to quit. I'm so sorry for you, but it's not possible anymore because you know too much. But on the other hand, it's time to learn how to regulate yourself under uncertainty. And that is the most important skill psychologically that you can bring to your trading and to your life, right? Because we always prefer a self-regulated person, self-regulated partner, parent, friend, right? So it's going to help you in all the areas of your life. So yes, starting this new year, you studied a lot about the technicals, about the strategies. I mean, you're good, okay? Find your stuff, find your recipe, put it together, put your rules together. But then how come you know exactly what to do, yet you still don't do it, right? It's not a knowledge problem because you know you shouldn't do it. And sometimes I'm pretty sure if you're like me when I was doing stupid shit, and I still do, by the way.
still do, you do it, you know, it's a thing.
We are aware we are doing stupid shit, yet we do it. Interesting.
Interesting.
So again, it's because we are so wired to protect ourselves in the market, not wired to do that job at all. So it's difficult to take that automatic system, which is the limbic system, the emotional brain, to stop doing its job. It's been there when you were born. It's been helping you survive, crying when you were cold or hungry, you know, or scared.
So, and someone asked, Insane Trader had asked, what did Dr. V teach Thor that wasn't something that he like, but this is what she taught me, right? That really wasn't, because, you know, this trading book that I did, I published it in 22, right? But I'm doing what I'm doing since then now. Same system, half a decade, significantly different outcome from the system now. It wasn't the system, right? It was the plier of the system that was created by the person, right? Like it made me better at doing my own system, right? By focusing on what she's talking about right now.
So self-regulation.
Self-regulation.
Okay, so 2026 is the year that we freaking self-regulate. Okay, are you in? Like, give me some unicorns. I love unicorns.
So in.
Are we
So in.
ready? Like
I'm
2026?
part of signing this one.
We're so self-regulating this year. Okay, we're doing this.
Gonzalo's effing in.
Yes.
Let's go.
I love the cursing. Passion. I love passion, people. Give me
Passion.
passion.
Let's go.
Okay, so you are a trader, the best job in the world. It's not even a job, right? So you are in this business. It's the greatest business of all. You can make so much money in doing nothing, right? You just sit in a position and you wait for the target or not to happen. But I mean, it is so worth it that you do the hard work. And the hard work is not learning a strategy, okay? The hard work is not reading level 2. It's what you do inside of this box, okay? It's self-regulation, okay?
Mhm.
You know your rules, your risk, your edge, but then emotions come, fear, frustration, excitement, they take over, and all your good intentions and your prefrontal cortices are out of the game instantly, wiped out by the emotion. Because the emotional brain is faster, unconscious, very automatic, and very primitive. So who's going to win the race each time? The emotional brain.
For
We need to
sure.
stop that. We need to break that highway. That's the work. And it's very hard, guys. But we want to go small steps at a time. Okay, so the idea, and we talked about it with our community this morning, it's the coupling of the prefrontal cortices and your limbic system. They have to work together. So the limbic system has something to say, because if it doesn't tell you that there's a threat, you're going to die. Okay, so that's a very important skill. But then the prefrontal cortex is the boss. So you need to put your cortices to work, okay? And there is practical ways to do it. It is staying choice-based, okay? Your nervous system is screaming for relief when you are under emotions, right? You just lost a trade. You really want to make your money back. You feel this urgency. That's okay. You know what? I'm never going to tell you that you should suppress any feelings. Feel like all you want.
Today was a perfect example of that for me. On my screen, I don't know if we flip back real quick, I am actually showing the ES loss that I took yesterday. So I actually took a loss on ES yesterday. And then on my winning trade that I got on NQ today, right? There was a point in time where my target was at ATR low. We stopped one tick above my target, like one tick above my target, opened a new candle and started moving away. And you're talking about the biggest trade I've ever had after having a loss yesterday. And if you don't think for that moment I didn't go like a little bit on the inside, right? I did, right? So of course I did, right? Because I perceive like, oh my God, I'm so close to winning. I just lost, and this is the best trade ever, right? But as it pulled back up, I even felt myself start to lean towards the mouse with my hand. And then I just went like this and just went and just
Ooh.
pulled my hand back like that and then just let it go down and hit that target. Right. So, but that is the self-regulation that I've been working so hard on this year, is that, in this instance, I'm making lower lows overall. This momentary space isn't actually danger. It's just a little bit of a pullback. But I'm actually having to change that wiring, to really just because we're going up, it doesn't mean there's an issue here. So I just pulled back and literally just put my hands together and then just let it drop and then went boom.
And
Right?
again, yeah, and that's beautiful, okay? Because you also have the experience of knowing that it's just a bad trade. It's just not a good day, right? Because you know that good days are coming after that day. But when we start, I remember I couldn't have a losing day because I thought I lost my mojo, you know, that I couldn't trade again. Well, that it was over with me if I couldn't have a green day. I didn't have the experience to trust and to be okay losing that day. So I think you need that perspective also to know that you've seen calendars, you've seen your data, and you know that even if you have 2 red days in a month, it's okay, right? But I don't know if there's anyone like me, but in the beginning it felt like I can't go, like I can't close everything and be red, like it's not okay. You know, I'm maybe a bit scared, you know, or I, you know, not happy at all. So again, experience, so don't be in a rush, okay? Many years of suffering.
Many.
Okay, many years of suffering. Okay, it takes time to rewire the brain. It doesn't take time to learn a strategy, but it takes time to apply its rules. Many years, and we're all different the way we are wired. So for some people, it's going to be 2 years, and for some people, it's going to be 8 years. But who cares?
Mm-hmm.
When you make 4 grand in 15 minutes one day.
Exactly. And I agree, Mr. Chatty. I really like the quote, "We can't quit. We know too much."
Yeah,
That one hits me too. There's nothing more frustrating, I think, as a mentor, and I know V and I have both experienced that, which is this moment when we watch someone kind of burn out, and we know, looking at them and having worked with them, that they have all the technical ability in the world to do exactly what we're doing. Like it's time, they're ready. We've shown you, you know how to do it, but it's just these behavioral slippage items, right? And in these little momentary lapses that you just can't, the lack of self-regulation, it really is, I think the big like weapon that you have against the market is self-regulation, interacting with the market when you want to, the way you want to, in the way you want to do it. That is your only weapon against the market, right? If you have a weapon at all, that would be it. And you know what I'm saying? So that would be really, you know, that's pretty cool. So I really like that. I resonate very heavily with that also.
it's all in our brain. Like nobody can fix us. Yes, you can be mentored, okay, and that's what I do. But at the end of the day, you have to do the really uncomfortable behaviors of going against your biology. You know, when we look at charts or just moving candles with lines, so simple. Yet, we go against our human nature every freaking day that we trade. Like, of course, it's hard. Of course, it can be messy sometimes. And that's okay. Take your time, for God's sake. You're gonna reach the level you want to reach. You will. Do the hard work inside of your brain cells. Change the way you are connected when you trade. That is a counterintuitive environment with uncertainty as a certainty.
Absolutely. And if you're interested, Mr. Chatty, you know, in, you know, doing mentoring, you can actually go to our, we have a couple ways to get in touch with Dr. V. One is you can hit her socials. She's on IG. She actually just posted like a really like cool post that I really liked. And then, so you can find her there. It's at Dr. Charland. I think, right? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I nailed it. Or you can go to marketalchemist.org, which is actually where Vanessa and I do our mentoring. our group mentoring. So, and her links to her calendar where you can book one-on-ones are all in there. So, and as well as our mentoring services are there. So it's really cool, and which I really, really like. So definitely make sure to check that out. Also, someone was asking here, they were asking for some advice. And I think you're going to have some solid perspective here. They've lost over 600K over the last 6 years. They keep repeating the same mistakes every time. I go short on hot stocks and freeze when things go wrong.
Yeah, so I think mentoring would be a good thing for you, right? I think investing a couple of $100 could be a great thing for your brain. I think now you might have damaged your brain, so you're in a traumatized state. So now everything feels like a threat. So I would advise that you step out of the live environment, okay? First thing to do, you go back to the sim environment and you go back to trading your system. And if hot stocks are not your cup of tea, you might also want to do the transition to the futures market, okay, which reduce your watch list considerably. They are simple, they move a lot, they have lots of volume, you don't need a big move to make money. And it's calmer because every day you have the same watch list, you know your products, and you just wait for your alerts. The problem was with hot stocks and movers and gappers and is that you don't know their personality, right? So maybe you need to go for something calmer or trade the indices, the Qs, the SPY, okay, to just get your feet wet again. But what you need to do now is desensitize. So you go back to the process because now your brain is threatened and it wants to make the money back to feel better. So you're all outcome oriented, which is the last thing that should be on your mind is the money.
Even when you're winning, like even when you're like 20 years from now, you're making millions of dollars, you still should not be outcome focused at all while you're trading. That is the killer. Anytime you're too focused, like even me getting nervous on my trade, it was just ATR low. If I just like not paid attention, it was there because we were watching it. I got interested in the outcome, so I got nervous, right? And so it's definitely like that.
Yeah, so same watch list is great because you don't feel like you're chasing, and also it reduces the stress in the morning to prepare because most of your higher time frame lines are already there, you know your stuff. But I would do that. Okay, so you take a break from the live, you take a break from wanting to make money because you don't qualify to make money yet. And the more you will put money on the line, the more you might traumatize yourself. And it's very hard to go back to being safe again. It takes time. Okay, so now you have to do exposure therapy in the sim environment because you want to expose yourself first to the process itself. So how come you're losing that much money? How come you have like what your losing trade look like? Do you exit because you have a reason to exit, or do you exit because your risk is too large? What is the reason? Why do you get into a trade? So again, here on YouTube, it's difficult to go deep into that. But the first thing is please protect the rest of your money. And it might take a while before you go back again, but that's okay. Now you really have to make sure that you have a solid trading recipe with solid and simple rules to enter a trade.
Simple rules. That's a
Yeah.
lot. I think it's really important. Dr. V is a master at simplification of processes, right? It's another value. Like one of the things is to find indicators that you can really resonate with. And some of the indicators that I've been a part of presenting or producing have been significantly bettered by using simplified approaches. So that's something to do too. Once you're in sim is take a look at like what your system is and make sure it's not so verbose that you don't have the ability to actually act upon it in a reasonable and consistent way.
Mm-hmm. and not too many rules as well. You know, like you need like maybe 3 rules to enter a trade. Nothing crazy, okay? You don't want to end up freezing and not taking any trades either because you're a trader, so you should trade. And when it's a stupid trade, just cut it. Okay, sometimes it happens. You got impulsive. Whatever happened, just cut the trade. Oh, I was impulsive. Okay, it's not what I should do. Okay, correct your course of action. There's nothing wrong. Also, I have the idea sometimes that maybe it's like what we see on social media again, that we want to look perfect, right? So the trades have to look sexy. Oh, I'm gonna hold for that target because people will think that my trade is sexier than if I take profit at S6, for example. Who cares?
For real.
It's your money, it's your brain, it's your life. Who cares what people think of your trade? Of course, if I partialed 15 times between here and here, okay, don't get me wrong, okay? But again, you don't trade to please other people. You trade for you. You trade to make money. And if you can make a couple of $100 per day, good for you, okay? Don't compare yourself with more experienced people.
For
If
sure. And Seven, check out our site and come hang out with us. I mean, think about how much you've lost already. It would be like someone who's having trouble losing weight. You know what I mean? If you're having a lot of trouble like getting in the right direction physically, you would go out and hire a personal trainer so that you can at least learn the proper nutrition tactics, right? You're going to learn the proper, way to go to the gym, the proper exercises, how to actually maintain a caloric deficit, right? You're going to go learn these. So invest in yourself and your behavior and your time and come work. We'd love to help you out. Come by and
invest in your
yes.
brain,
You know,
the only organ that you need to trade and a hand, okay?
yeah.
But invest in that brain. A
Link to
psychologist
go long.
guy.
I'm
Invest
out.
in that hand gesture. But seriously, guys, it's funny because people think like a psychologist, like, oh no, I'm going to see a shrink, like she's gonna like, I don't like it. No, we are, it's the science of behavior. So psychology means the science of behavior. Okay, I'm not going to talk about your childhood if it has nothing to do with your problems at trading. Okay,
Exactly.
sometimes you need an extensive psychotherapy because you have a belief system that has been damaged with your previous experience in early years, maybe. Okay, but most people, it's really just performance based and we don't have to go that deep. But if we have to go that deep and it's a psychotherapy, so be it. You're taking care of yourself.
For sure. And 1 second, if you'll let me. Chris, Ben, I love you guys. Chris, this is not your trading channel right now, bud. So can you stop calling your trades? I messaged you once inside the chat and asked. We're at that point now to where 4 out of every 2 comments are yours. Right. So if you don't stop, I'm going to put you on timeout. And Ben, I don't care about avocados. Why are you talking about that in a trading channel? Like, if you're so bored, go back to X, dude. I can talk to you over there. We're really trying to help people that we really care about, and we want to improve their trading. And I can barely keep up with the conversations now. See, I just had 3 people say, yeah, he's driving me nuts. Right. So please focus, get control of yourself, little space here, deep breath. Right. And let's get back to our thing. So speaking of self-regulation, actually, which is today's topic, right? So let's do that. And if you can't do that today, log out and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Love you, buddy. You know I love you, but you just go nuts with this stuff sometimes. Like, Jesus. All right. Sorry.
All right. So why discipline fails us, okay? So it's not that we lack discipline, guys. It's not that you're not mentally strong enough. It's that you just have to make these connections that you never had to do. Because usually in life, when it's threatening, it's a good thing to get away from it. Not in the markets. We want threatening. We want the uncertainty. So it's not so this year, please guys, okay? We're not chasing motivation. I'm not gonna sell you podcasts where you hear me in your ears telling you that you're a great trader and you have to listen to that every morning to trade well, okay?
I mean, I would listen to it, but I mean,
we're training regulation under pressure, okay? And the sentence you tell yourself when pressure hits, okay? I need to make it back. I can't miss this. This should work. I'm excited. This setup looks juicy. Like yesterday, right? You were excited yesterday. Turned you on very
big
much.
time. Yeah, very much. Oh yeah, I was tingles, man. I was ready to go. I was
Load the boat.
luckily the only thing I bag hold is relationships, so I cut that trade when it went the wrong way.
So the sentences that we put in our heads are not random. They drive our behavior. I don't know if you've been aware of this or not before, but we tend to talk in our heads every time we do something, especially in trading. You talk to yourself out loud or not on what your next move should be. Okay, so your thoughts in your head, your sentences are driving you. But the beautiful part is that you can train them. So you need to replace these emotional self-talk that are running the show most of the time with task-focused instructions. So you are self-instructing yourself in every trading session. And that self-instruction will keep the prefrontal cortex engaged. It cannot go away if you keep instructing yourself and talking about what you're doing and why. Some people read the rules aloud before they take a trade. And it's not the hype, it's not the affirmations, oh, it's so perfect. You just have to think you're a good trader and you will become one. No, okay? It's really like, how am I trading? Okay, so you don't need to become more confident. You need to become more regulated. And then the confidence will come that you can trade. You can be in an uncertain environment. You will survive.
It's really true though. It's definitely an order, right? Like it's not I'm confident and therefore I self-regulate. It's the self-regulation. And this has actually been something in my general life overall. I have found that bringing self-regulation, to multiple areas of my life have been very beneficial. So, but especially in trading, I mean, but it was knowing that I could be regulated that then gave me the confidence, that went from that. That's 100% true.
So keep that prefrontal cortex engaged. And also when you journal, okay, journal what you were thinking. You can have like a notepad next to you, okay, while in a trade that you then can put in a proper journal, but write down how you are feeling, 1 to 10, or what are the thoughts? Oh, I need to make money. I need the setup to work, whatever it is. Because the faster that you can become aware of what's happening in your brain, the faster you can change it. I'm telling you, okay, it's working. It's evidence-based. It's been proven that science, that impulsive people can change their course of behavior with the self-instruction method. It is working.
For sure. I mean, Alex D. Tuff just put in here, Lambos and Garbage member. What's up, buddy? Trading has helped. This is what he wrote. Trading has helped me a lot in my personal life too. Makes you take a deep look inside for sure. That is the understatement of like the century for me. Like trading for me completely reoriented me as a human in the world. You know what I mean? Like it completely brought out, it forced the best attributes of me to come to the surface or die. You know what I mean? Like I had to learn these things. I had to become the best version of what I was capable of in order for me to be successful. right? There's yeah, exactly. And I couldn't I got in shape while I was becoming a better trader, because how do I have bad eating habits and I'm irresponsible? It'd be like waking up and not making my bed in the morning. You know what I mean? How am I supposed to hold for ATR low if I don't make my bed in the morning? You know what I mean? It's like it's this whole thing. It's quite amazing. The market will force you to mature up a bit, I think.
Yeah. And also every day try to identify the trigger. So somebody's mentioning it didn't go well for me today. So Mark, and so when it pulled back, so you were not happy with your trading. So try to identify like what thought you had in your brain when you exited the trade, for example, that you're not happy about. Okay. And we need also, because trading is never perfect, we need rules to exit a trade. We have a target, but if things doesn't go according to plan, how can we still make some money on the trade? What are the rules that can be implemented? It could be the trend, right? It could be, we have a trend, and if it breaks trend, we get out of the trade. It could be, well, if we reclaim an important level, I don't want to be in the trade anymore. So have a set of rules that you have some flexibility, because if the rules are just to have a perfect setup from the entry to the exit, like flawless, well, trading is messier than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sometimes they turn around like, a few points before the target. What do you want to do? Not take the money because I want to be right about my target? We need to stay flexible,
Yeah, there's only a certain amount of give back you want to do on any of these ones, especially if you're starting to trade larger size. I mean, because it's holding back through a $50 pullback, not so bad. Holding through a $5,000 pullback, not so great. Right? So it's we're definitely gonna, it's definitely something to do. I mean, so couldn't agree more.
So a practical exercise, okay, that you can implement. So step 1, identify the trigger. Okay, when you are live, okay, what is the trigger? Where do I feel it? Because the body is a compass. Your body is that's why you have to go back to the gym, right? The body is your best ally. Your brain and your body, best friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where do you feel it? Because next time you will be faster when you have the sensations. To be aware of the sensation first, you are faster at being aware, okay, something might be off emotionally for me. I feel something. And then catch the automatic sentence, because it's always thoughts, emotions, behaviors. They're linked together. Okay? So yes, emotions make us do stupid things, but so are thoughts, because we have a set of belief, of personal belief, that have been developed throughout the years with our personal experiences. And sometimes these thoughts are not so good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my dad was right. Like I never like it's impossible for me to achieve that, or to make that much money in such a short amount of time, because making much money means that I need to work a lot of hours. Like it's not something that I've been raised. Like we have a lot of baggage
For
that
sure.
we need to get rid of. So
I think that works for a lot of us too that grew up, like I know like both of us kind of grew in what would likely be considered to be like the middle to like lower middle income spot, like at the beginning of our lives, I mean, I was very rural, trailer in the middle of nowhere, and definitely watching these trades going and seeing what the potential is now, there is a part of me that's still back there someday that goes like like wow, like it just doesn't even make sense sometimes to that person, so it's definitely something you have to pay attention to. Almost some self-sabotage can come in there with that kind of stuff.
that's why money, and I'm very happy you bring this up, money should always stay as a number. Because what is money really? It's something that you can exchange for something else. And that is the something else that makes us excited, is the ideas what we can achieve with more money.
But this is what money really is, right? It's just some piece of like note paper that someone like scribbled some stuff, right? It doesn't even have value technically. It's our belief of what
We
it's
give the
worth.
value to it.
Yeah, we give it the
Exactly.
value.
It's a number. So it should not dictate your trading decision either, and it shouldn't make pressure on your trading behaviors. It's
Right.
just a number. Okay, keep it that way. So step one, okay, the trigger. Step two, catch the automatic sentence. Very important for your journaling. And then you write that sentence down in your journal. Okay, for example, just one more trade.
We are melting right now. Look at ES on your chart or NQ. I mean, the
I
market is just
know.
melting right now.
I'm
Jeez.
so FOMO right now. Like it went. I wondered if we could go to monthly central pivot. Guess we just did.
Guess we did, man, but we were so dialed in on this day. I mean, oh my God. I mean, phew. Oh, good stuff.
I mean, it went 3 times lower than my target.
Your
It
higher
does
time
work.
frame analysis this morning was so spot like perfect on point. This was just so lined up today. I mean, this was just amazing. Like, yeah, like the psychology is very impressive, but I also kind of brag on your technical expertise for this stuff. I mean, today was just all that. Like, what a
But it's
day.
simple. It's not even me. It broke trend. What do you want to do? It's sometimes
You say so?
crystal clear, you know?
I actually think it is. I think the whole market follows you at this point, and that's what. No,
Oh,
you're right. But
please
your
try
ability to
to
decipher what you're seeing, you put a lot of work in on learning how to decipher that information. You're very, very good. It was great. So it's just good stuff.
It's a game of direction. So how can we make sure that we get on board on the right side of things? And if it's not clear enough, we pass. It's like dating. Okay, you just met that person, she's cute, he's cute, whatever, but she's confusing, you know, he's confusing. I don't really quite understand when he texts, like it's never clear. When I ask a simple question, I never get quite the answer. Red flag, run for your life. Okay, we're very good at back holding. So.
Only relationships. Oh, that's funny.
And do not back hold relationships. Get out of that position, guys. It's
cut that
2026. Okay,
cut the trade.
get out. If it's hurting you, you get out. Okay. All right, some relationship advice, you know, just
Oh yeah, that seemed aggressive. I don't know where that came from.
So step 3, guys, to go back to the exercise, okay, replace with a self-instruction instead of, you know, just one more trade. What could you tell yourself instead of that? Based on your rules, right? Because your brain wants to make money, you know? Like maybe someone right now wants to short this. It just opened their computer and they're like, oh wow, it's selling. I want to go short right here. I'm pretty sure I would have done it in the beginning, right? Getting all excited. So
absolutely.
Again, what is the instruction based on your trading recipe right now? Or I need to make my money back. Maybe replaced by, it's so sexy to have a small losing day. I'm gonna look so sexy, because that's the sexiest part of trading, by the way you lose.
That's what I was going for yesterday, by the way.
Exactly, sexy.
So
there you go.
You heard it here first.
So think of you as, if I show that, let's show up that red day, because if I show that red day, I'm gonna show that I can actually accept losses. I mean, you're a baller. That's even more than 100K trade, right? Because what's the guy's name again? that he has like monster red days. Like the guy is making money some days, but when he loses, Jesus, you know?
Yeah, the mad ass footballer guy, right? So he just posted actually today that he won $5,000 today, or it was like yesterday and then today. So it's kind of, but it's like every single day the guy, it's his losers, $4,000, $5,000, $2,000, $5,000, $5,000, right? And then 200,000 loss, or 100,000 loss. It's just crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like, oof,
100 grand loss. I mean,
like
for a 5K
wow.
winning day?
Yeah, for multiple, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it actually shows like if you don't adapt as the market adjusts, it just things are going to get really bad. Even if you were very successful at one point in time, you got to pay attention to what's working these days, right? So yeah, I mean, I can't either, Ben. Like I mean, it's an incredibly large amount of money. So it's hard to imagine.
Okay, so you could say, for example, to replace that thought again, you could say, okay, I'm activated right now, so I'm not acting. I stand up. I go take a glass of water. I go make myself a coffee, whatever it is, okay? And then you think, okay, what kind of trader I want to be? Okay. So that kind of trader, what would he do or she do? Okay. Well, I guess I'm doing that. Right? Take that moment. And the simulation environment, guys, I cannot stress enough how important that is to build that process-oriented mindset. It's not about making money. Money will flood your accounts when you can actually behave well. So work on your behaviors and please stop worrying about money. I swear to God, I was the worst trader on this planet. Okay, and now I'm like, okay, I would do it again. Like, it's so worth it. But it takes a lot of work, and perfection is not on the menu, please.
And you
You
can
will
develop
have-
your strategies, by the way, without doing a lot of trading. You can actually sit down and look at the strategy you're trying to learn and just look through charts and see how it applies and build your strategy, then start trading. Because the other thing you don't want to have to do is go to a Dr. V to have her unwind all the insane behaviors that you've built while you didn't know how to trade and you were just randomly firing stuff into the market. I can't tell you how many different times we've had a trader like we're like, you're using a what kind of indicator that we've never seen before? And the trader's like, yeah, I've just been using it for such a long time. I just really like it. And we're like, yeah, but how do you trade with it? And they can't really even explain it. And we're just like, okay. And then we finally talk them into deleting it. And then their trading gets better. So it's kind of like one of those things, V?
Exactly. Countless people I worked with, we go into the first session, and in 15 minutes, I still don't understand the way they trade. So guess what happens? The session is postponed, and they have to have a trading recipe before we actually work on their behaviors because they don't know what they're doing. So why would I spend 1 hour and their money when they don't actually know what they're doing? Okay? First thing first.
100%.
All right, I need to go to Back to the Futures now.
Yep, I actually just opened the room so that people
Thank
could
you so
start getting
much.
into it. So for everyone who's in BBT, we have Back to the Futures coming up here, here in just a few minutes with Dr. V. Everybody on YouTube, I hope you really enjoyed and liked this session.
We love you guys.
Make sure we love you very much, and we hope you guys come and hang out with us every single Wednesday. Otherwise, check us out on socials and everything. We'll see you next week. I'll see everybody tomorrow. We'll talk some technicals.